a public media initiative to help communities prepare all students for success in school, careers, and life.
Hi everyone, it's John Legend. It's so exciting to be joining you on American Graduate Day.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand,
we made it, finally.
We have crushed high school in 12 years of education.
We're the generation, we can't afford to wait.
Today marks the end of one finish line and the beginning of our next chapter in life.
To paraphrase the most meaningful movie of our generation, Mean Girls, get in losers, we're graduating.
You feel the same, then go on and say if you're out there. Sing along with me if you're out there. I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Stand up and say it loud.
If you spent the last 4 years finally figuring yourself out, be prepared to restart that process all over again.
Be confident in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Be who you are and say what you feel. Because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
If you're ready, we can shake the world. Believe again. It starts with them.
We're about to take the biggest steps of our lives.
We should still have the enthusiasm to boldly take risks, even though we may fall flat on our face.
I'm 17, so please allow me some idealism.
We did it, we're done, and the best is yet to come.
History is watching, so let's give it a show.
Class of 2017, we made it.
What an inspirational way to start a broadcast. Hi, everybody. I'm Soledad O'Brien, and welcome to American Graduate Day 2017. We're coming to you live from the Tisch WNET studios in Lincoln Center in New York. The music montage we opened with is set to a song called If You're Out There. It's by John Legend. You're going to hear more from him in just a few minutes, and lots more from other luminaries as well. One of the lyrics in that song that is particularly appropriate for today's broadcast is "Tomorrow's starting now." As always, today's program will celebrate all the people and organizations working to help students graduate high school on time. The graduation rate hovers around 83%, and it is the highest it's ever been. But today we're also going to talk about what happens to these young people the day after graduation, because as John Legend sings, tomorrow's starting now. Please welcome to our program the president of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Patricia Harrison. And we're also thrilled to be joined by the president and CEO of Huntington Ingalls Industries, Mike Petters. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
So take us back to the starting of American Graduate Day. What was the philosophy behind it? What did you want to accomplish?
6 years ago, and first of all, I want to thank stations like WNET and stations for Cookeville, Tennessee, and Idaho and Arizona. The concept was public media has a mission focused on education from the youngest child to all through high school, lifelong learning. We're knowledge providers. The important thing, we're based in the community, care about the community. This was a huge, huge crisis. 1 million American boys and girls not graduating every year. So whose responsibility is that? We convened, we worked with 1,700 partners and companies like Mike's, and I'm happy to say 6 years later, with a lot of good work and a lot of good organizations, as you said, Soledad, we now have reached this wonderful 83% graduation rate.
Which is amazing, but?
But it's not but, it's and. It is and. We know how to make this work, thanks to General and Mrs. Alma Powell, America's Promise Alliance, who, through their Grad Nation report, told us all a young person needs is at least one caring adult in their lives, a mentor, a champion. And that's who we are as Americans. Our DNA is volunteerism. And you can be a mentor and make a difference, and it'll make a difference in your life as well.
Often when people talk about mentoring, they think about little kids and an adult helping them. A lot of this program is going to focus on mentoring people through a transition, out of high school and into a career. Why is a mentor so important at that pivot point?
Because a mentor, it's not one size fits all. You could have someone who's retired. You can have a college student who's a mentor. You bring your life experiences, your intuition, but most of all, your commitment to say, I care about you as a person. And these kids are worth saving. They're worth caring about. They have grit. But like all of our own children, they need a little network of support. That's all they need. And it's going to make a big difference for our country.
At your company, Huntington Ingalls Industries, which is one of the nation's largest military shipbuilders, right. You have a number of programs. We're going to talk in a little bit on this program about the Newport News Shipbuilding Apprentice School, which sounds amazing. Right. But I'm not going to talk about it now because we have a piece on it later. But tell me why these kinds of education-focused programs are so important to your business.
Well, the complexity of what we do requires us to be engaged in training our employees. And so when you show up at the gate of our business, you don't usually show up with a degree or certificate in shipbuilding per se. We need to make you into shipbuilders. And so we have a variety of programs because we never, one size doesn't fit all. But we have a variety of programs across our entire business to help you become a much more productive member of our team.
Often CEOs are watching the bottom line, and I could see someone saying, well, that's wonderful, but that costs money to do. Why is that a worthy investment?
Well, in our view, it costs money not to do it. And so, and we've had, being a government contractor, we get lots of audits and reviews. And time again, when the auditors show up and they say, we ought to just go cut some of that out, that ends up being the one thing. So you can cut a lot of stuff out. You can't cut that out. That's too important to your business. It's the backbone and the fabric of what we do.
What kinds of changes have you seen in the years that this program has been on the air that bring together important partnerships, government and business and nonprofits?
I think, first of all, Soledad, it is the acknowledgement, because as public media has been doing this for 6 years, we've raised such awareness about how someone dropping out impacts your own family, impacts your community, our society. And leaders like Mike, I can't say enough for what corporate America is doing, and small business CEOs and faith-based organizations. Together, as Americans, we're saying this is our responsibility, and in the end, it benefits everyone. So I see that huge change. The other change is the democratization of technology. We are all going to have to be lifelong learners. You don't just get to a place and say, I've achieved it, I've climbed Mount Everest, because there's another Everest in front of you. And these kids, really, what public media has been doing, preparing them before they even enter preschool, getting ready to learn, getting them ready to be lifelong learners. But then we have to take the high school graduates where they are right now and say, you've got a lot going for you, but you do need training.
Mike, let me ask you about your employees, because they often serve as volunteers. Right. Have you found that you have to wrangle them into doing it, or do you feel that they are raising their hands to be part of this? To
volunteer into this
and take
community?
part in the numerous programs that you run.
Oh, no. I mean, actually, our system is such that if you want to do welding on our ship, you're going to go through our welding program. We're not just going to put you on the ship. What we do, though, along those lines is we engage in our state community workforce development projects. We're the largest employer in Mississippi and in Virginia. And so, as a result, we're engaged in that whole pipeline of training and development and workforce development from the governor's office all the way down to our peers and docs. And to me, that's where the partnerships that we have with the political system, the partnerships we have with WHRO in Norfolk, that is all about trying to create an environment where folks are going to not only learn, they're going to love to learn, and they can be lifelong learners and be productive for us.
In our last remaining seconds, would you encourage other business leaders to do what you've done?
My view is that you get out of it what you put into it. If you just sit at the end of the pipeline and you wait for some goodness to come out of it, you're liable to be disappointed. But if you invest in that pipeline and you do what you need to do, you will be very happy with what you get out of it.
Mike and Pat, thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for kicking us off
You
today.
bet.
Really appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having us.
And of course, thank you for all that you do every day. You guys have been doing this for a long time, and it's greatly appreciated. Throughout this broadcast, we are going to present features about people in our communities who are working to help young people succeed in school and beyond. We call them Stories of Champions. And our very first one is from KLRU in Austin, Texas.
I think River Oaks is an incredible school and an incredible community. The program we do here is called A World in Motion. To cover the entire 4th and 5th grade, we take about 55 GM mentors who come every single week to make engineers out of every mischievous child.
He used to be a little timid, kind of scared, and this has definitely built his confidence. Like this is all due to the teacher, Miss Angie.
I would describe it as like nice, really like helpful. She's helpful to me and my team.
I know he told me about the letter he wrote, and his vice principal read it to me, and I got kind of emotional, but only because he's a good kid and he has a big heart.
I read it out loud to my husband and I just started crying. You know, you always think you know what's in someone's heart, or you think you understand people, and just the fact that he would have cared so much, or that time that I gave him meant so much to him was, and I don't know, it just blew my mind.
Live 4-hour broadcast. You're going to meet dozens of amazing people and organizations and several very great co-hosts. And our very first is Lauren Wenko, who is with David Shapiro. He is the CEO of Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. He's also a very important and strategic ally of this program. Hi to you both.
Thank you, Soledad. Hi to you as well. David, tell us, how do you define being a mentor?
So much of being a mentor is just being consistent for someone, showing up for them the way you would show up for the people you care about in life. And it can make such a huge difference, especially for a young person, to have that stability and consistency.
Tell us more about Mentor and how the organization got started.
Yeah, so much of our origins were in seeing the great work that Big Brothers Big Sisters of America was doing and saying, how do we create so many more organizations that are doing mentoring in the right way? And how do we get business involved and public officials involved in boosting relationships for young people forward?
You've spoken about a support and opportunity gap. What does that mean?
Well, I think so often we think that people have this sort of, they know where they're going, and we talk about things like achievement gap, like their destiny is already decided for them. So much of young people, especially, their destiny is decided upon what happens as they're growing up. And so we talk about closing the support and opportunity gap. How do we provide the relationships, the enrichment, the stability they need to get to their path?
And your organization has found that there are lots of people who want a mentor, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you go on, and American Graduate is helping us today promote this, our mentoring connector, there are 100,000 people a year who search to become a mentor. It's a hard thing to step up. It can be intimidating, but I think people begin to realize that it's just about showing up for other people, which they do in their lives.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that. Elaborate on that, because it is intimidating. We all see the commercials, right, where somebody jokingly messes up a simple task, but the whole point is you're there, you're present in that child's life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a phrase that people in mentoring use a lot, which is you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. A lot of times the difference that is made, and you think about your life, going through dark times, going through lifetimes, times in between, is having a person at your side. And so if you can show up for a young person, it's not about having all the wisdom in the world or knowing every single place to go. It's just about being a consistent person who says, no matter what, I'm going to be with you on this journey. That's so elevating.
And briefly tell us, it's a big question, but where can folks start looking if they want a mentor?
Yeah, they can look on American Graduate's site today, and our connector is on there. They can go to mentoring.org, which is our website. And one thing that I think people need to realize about mentoring in today's day and age, there's so many different programs, so many different structures, so many different ages, subject matters like science. So a lot of times you're going to find things you're passionate about to share with a young person very near your home.
All right, well, David, it was a pleasure. Great seeing you again. Thank you for joining us on American Graduate Day. Soledad, we're going to toss it back to you.
David and Mentor create mentoring connections. If you'd like to find an opportunity to be a mentor in your area, it's very easy. Just go to americangraduate.org and then click on Be a Mentor in the homepage carousel. You'll be directed to the Mentoring Connector. Type in your information. You'll see a list of mentoring opportunities in your community. Throughout this broadcast, we're going to hear from luminaries about their mentors. And our very first one is from John Legend.
Hi, everyone. It's John Legend. It's so exciting to be joining you on American Graduate Day. My first big mentor was my grandmother. She was the organist at my church. She taught me how to play gospel music, and a lot of the reason why I play the way I play now and perform the way I perform now was because of her influence. And then after I graduated from college, I had a mentor by the name of Kanye West. He signed me to his record company, Good Music, and he took me on tour with him and helped me really learn about the music business through seeing his ascension as a solo artist. I wouldn't be where I am today. You wouldn't know who I was probably without the help of Kanye West. What's up? How's everybody?
I'm good.
Good. I think it's important for young people to have mentors. I think it's important for you to see examples of who you want to be in life and the kind of success you want to experience. So tell me a little bit about that track. Who's on it? Who's performing?
She did the vocals, so she's flipping out right now about you critiquing it. I did the first verse and I wrote the chorus.
I think the track feels really good. It gives you like a good mood to set the track in. LRNG is all about encouraging innovation when it comes to teaching and learning. So much of the world is changing with technology and the way we interact with each other. And we feel like the way we teach and the way we learn should continue to evolve as well. We wanted to create an environment where teachers could collaborate with each other and learn from each other. And if someone's doing something that's really innovative and interesting, that they're not the only ones doing it, that other teachers can learn from that and spread the message to their students all around the country. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor. Be a mentor like my grandmother, Elmira Lloyd. Be a mentor like Kanye West was to me. Be a mentor. Help somebody else.
Thanks to the amazing John Legend, discipline and purpose are the cornerstone of our next organization, the U.S. military. They also happen to be the largest employer in the United States with more than 200 different career options to pursue within the military. Young people have the opportunity to get training in a wide variety of jobs, helping prepare them for post-military careers. Joining us today is the head of U.S. Army recruitment, Major General Jeffrey Snow. Nice to have you with us, General. Thanks for being with us. Why did you join the? Thank you. Appreciate that. Why did you join the military?
Well, you know, for me, I was the oldest of four. I had a skill. I was a hockey player, and so I was recruited to play hockey at West Point. When you go to West Point, not only do you get a degree, but you've got an obligation to serve 5 years. And for me, I fell in love with the Army. So here I am, 34 years later.
Today, you are in charge of looking for recruits. Tick off for me what you're looking for. You're looking for 80,000 people, right?
80,000, and as you said, that 80,000 is really in the Army. It's about 120,000 when you include the National Guard. When you look at the Department of Defense, it's upwards of 200,000. Wow. And to answer your question, what we're looking for is the same thing corporate America is looking for, and that is those that can meet the cognitive, the moral, and the physical standards to join. Not easy when only 3 in 10 can actually meet the qualifications to join.
What does the Army give to young people to help them be successful?
There's a couple of things that I highlight for you. One that I think is really a gift to the Army, to the youth today. It's a program called March to Success. And so literally somebody can type in www.marchtosuccess.com. And what that does is it helps the youth of today prepare for a standardized test, free of charge. No links to the military, so it doesn't mean if you sign up and take advantage of this that you've got to join. So that's one thing, because we're committed to enhancing the ability of youth to be successful. The second one I'd highlight for you is called the Armed Services Vocation Aptitude Battery Career Exploration Program.
That's the title?
That is the title. We call it ASVAB CEP for short. So I know it's a mouthful, but a student.
What does it do?
Well, it assesses a student's ability to potentially to serve, but it also gives them feedback on what they might be successful at. The career exploration part is the part that I think we need to talk more about. Here again, you can take it, you can get the feedback. It does not commit you to one of the services.
Let's talk more about the career exploration part. Not everybody wants to be in for 30 some odd years in the military. For some people, they prefer to go in for a shorter time. How does that help potentially build a career on the other side?
Yeah, no, listen, I think this is a wonderful question. Anybody that comes into the military is going to learn a skill. What folks don't understand is the commitment to education that we have too. So they can come in, they can serve one tour, and then we will help them get their college degree. And then I would tell you, serving in any of the services, I believe will help them. It'll be a competitive advantage for them when they decide to transition from the military.
What's been the most important and positive thing for you from all the years that you've served in the U.S. military?
You know, two answers to that. The first I'd have to say is just the people. Incredible people that I've had the opportunity to serve with and for over the course of my career. That's one. The second thing I would tell you, the opportunity to make a difference. You know, by our very definition, our job is to fight and win the nation's wars. But in the course of doing that, I will tell you, we've made a difference in a lot of people's lives. You know, my experience is predominantly in Iraq, but to help a young man or woman, you know, go to school for the first time or go to see a doctor or something like that, I think we are able to make a difference in people's lives.
So when you talk to young people or sitting in front of you thinking about going into the U.S. military, what do you tell them?
You know what I tell them? I tell them, listen, I just want you to make an informed decision. You know, spend some time, go to GoArmy.com, talk to people, talk to influencers, and just explore it. It's not for everybody. We're not interested in co-opting young men and women. As you said, it's not for everybody. But you know what? I just want them to make an informed decision on their own once they learn all the facts. The other thing I tell them is, listen, whether it's the Army or any other services, there is a recruiting station near you, okay?
You're getting a recruiting pitch in now. I like it.
I mean, the thing is just go and have the conversation. You know, there are no ties. We actually will put the needs of that individual first. But I want them to understand what your point, which is, listen, whether you serve one tour or a couple tours or a career, it could, in fact, be a competitive advantage. It could help you pursue what you want. And the last thing I'd say is, listen, 99% of the jobs in the civilian community, there's something like that in the military.
There's a future there.
Yeah.
General, thanks so much. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Finding purpose and joy in what you do is a universal goal. Now Lauren Wenko has a group of musicians who found both purpose and joy. They are the U.S. Army Recruitment Band. As you were, Lauren?
Soledad, I'm with Sergeant Tom Katsianis. Tom, tell us more about the band. You perform in schools all over the country. What's the purpose of the band?
The purpose of the band is to represent the Army through music and to change people's perception about what military service looks like.
How successful has the band been?
It's been very successful. We've played about 250 concerts this year and gotten about 38,000 recruitment leads for our command. So I'd say it's been really successful.
What do you find so fulfilling about serving in the military?
It's given me a really unique opportunity to be a musician and to represent the Army through music and to serve my country, essentially. So it's been a very unique opportunity for me.
Well, I am very excited because right now we have an opportunity to hear from this band. As you were, we are going to let you take it away.
Hey, I'm just trying to make my way on through the concrete jungle. Who walks with me? Hey, I'm just trying to find connection in 2000 something ain't easy. Ooh, can't quit, useless. Wanna taste you? Can't quit, useless. Kissing strangers. Till I find someone I love.
Greetings from New Orleans. I'm Shiva Turk, and I am so happy to be back again this year on American Graduate Day. When I was a journalism student, I was nearly forced to drop out of college for financial reasons, but that's when I found the Starfish Foundation. Not only did they help me monetarily, but I was also lucky enough to meet my mentor, our host, Soledad O'Brien. Her support and guidance changed my life. And after graduation, I was able to land a job as a television reporter. So I know firsthand the power of mentorship. Our next organization, iMentor, specializes in providing this power. They've served nearly 8,000 students in 16 cities. They match first-generation college applicants with mentors who are college graduates. They begin working one-on-one with students during their junior year of high school and stay with them for a minimum of 3 years, helping them to navigate the complexities of exploring, applying to, and paying for college.
iMentor is a college success nonprofit, and we partner with public high schools and match entire grades of students with college-educated volunteer mentors.
Yesterday in class, what did we talk about? College. Right, it doesn't just happen, you make it happen.
As a program manager, my role is being a bridge between the student mentees and the volunteer mentors.
You're going to tell your mentee that you're going to contact and find an answer through the college success.
Being a first-generation college student, applying to college is hard. The mentors can be that individualized one-on-one support that students need.
End of my sophomore year, I started taking football more serious, and it was just football. I barely passed my classes.
I played soccer, basketball, wrestling, and I did track and field in high school. And then I did track and field in college. So having someone like me, look, I just went through this, I went to a good enough school, and I have a good enough job, he's like, okay, this is someone who I can listen to.
Is this the first time you're training like all year round?
Me and my mentor, Dan, we had a conversation one day, and I was talking to him about football, and I was showing him my highlight tape and my news clips and stuff. And he was like, yeah, all of this is great, but do you have the grades to back you up? Because there's a million people in the world that's good at football, you know? You're not the only one. When he said that to me, you know, it hurt at first, but it meant a lot. I realized that, you know, a change has to be made. I started studying more, I did my homework, and I started making honor roll. I've been on honor roll since my junior year. I think without iMentor, it'd be very different. You know, I have a lot of friends that don't have iMentor, and they know nothing about the college process. I know about FAFSA, I know about loans, what it takes to apply to colleges, what you have to have, and I was just on track.
As long as you have like a system, I feel like you'll be fine.
I got into Mooresville State College. Nobody expected it, and that was like a great moment.
Every day I go home, and the first thing I do is check the mailbox. I'm hoping for an acceptance letter.
Maya, being an overachiever that she is, she just stresses out about things a lot, probably a lot more than most people her age. And so I think my biggest role was just to be there to talk to her and to tell her that that was normal.
Maya hasn't heard back from any schools, even though everybody around her has, and so she's getting really nervous. So she's been calling schools to inquire if they've gotten all of her documentation. I think really, though, in hope that they'll tell her over the phone that she's gotten in somewhere.
Okay. It looks like we're missing a high school transcript.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Thank you for calling the college at Brockport. Who would you like to reach?
Admissions office.
Connecting to admissions office.
Did you file your FAFSA already?
Yes. I filed it in February. The process is way more complicated than what I thought it would be. It can make you feel discouraged at times. So having iMentor really helped me because when I didn't have the answer, my mentor page did.
Wait, you say you recently applied?
Yes.
Taylor, you should have got something in the mail already.
I didn't get anything in the mail already.
Okay. Let's see, let's check your mailing address.
Can you tell me over the phone what was probably in the mail?
All right, I'll ask him to resend it to you.
Huh? Was I accepted?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were accepted. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello?
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You did it!
Darius Lancaster.
Not only is he going to college, but he's also going to be getting to play football. I was so proud of him.
He's the first one in my family to graduate high school. So this was a great day for us. They built a family and a friendship that's undeniable.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Hi, this is Phil Mickelson, and I'm excited to be part of the American Graduate Day. I knew and I believed at an early age that I was going to play golf for a living. It's what I dreamt of doing, it's what I always wanted to do. But the two biggest mentors in my life, my father and Steve Loy, ingrained in me the importance of having a college education, that it was important to build your foundation, that the bigger your foundation, the greater your high rise. So I knew at a young age that not only did I want to play golf for a living, but I was going to have something to fall back on, which was a college degree. When I won my first PGA Tour event, I was a junior in college, and Steve Loy, my mentor, explained and helped me understand, along with my father, how important it was to still get your education. And so I stayed that last year and a half. It's a year and a half that I've cherished my entire life. Knowing how education has played a part in my success behind the scenes, I also understand that education is the key to anyone's success, to get out of difficult situations or to thrive in life. That's a big reason why KPMG and myself partnered for Blues for Books to get books in the hands of young kids at an early age, get them excited to learn, get them educated at an early age to help build their foundation for ultimately the rest of their life as big and great as it could be. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor like Steve Loy was to me.
All right, Phil Mickelson is right. Early exposure to books provides an important boost toward a successful career path. Hi, everybody. I'm Rahima Ellis, and I'm so pleased to once again be a part of American Graduate Day. Study after study confirms that early education is the foundation for long-term success, and a critical part of that learning is the development of a social-emotional toolbox that students then use throughout their lives. For decades, the most influential, most well-known provider of early learning entertainment, you know who it's been Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit organization behind Sesame Street. Under the new Sesame Street and Communities Trauma Initiative, Sesame's beloved characters become a source of comfort and healing, especially for young children in the most difficult of circumstances. With us today is one of our friends from Sesame Workshop, Dr. Jeanette Benacourt.
Hello.
Hi there. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Talk to me about the initiative centers and how it's helping children deal with traumatic experiences.
The initiative is called Sesame Street and Communities, and it's exactly that. It's ideas and concepts and resources being brought to providers, parents, and caregivers to give them resources that helps them in their children's well-being.
And how common is it that children will experience some sort of trauma or traumatic experience in their lives that they need this?
Believe it or not, the statistics indicate that half of children today experience at least one traumatic experience, and 20% experience 2 or more of traumatic experiences.
It's unbelievable.
It is truly.
And the impact these have on children, how does it affect their learning in terms of their social and emotional learning?
So traumatic experiences are those difficult situations like divorce or the incarceration of a parent or grief. And the way it impacts, if it is a chronic situation ongoing in the household or in the community, it impacts children's brain development as well as their social emotional development. And it has a kind of trajectory over time where that impact stays with the child.
Oh my gosh. Now, how do you go about it? How does Sesame Street introduce these very complex conversations or topics into conversations with children?
Well, the secret here is the grown-ups. And in a certain way, it's the way that grown-ups and children can connect around these difficult topics. And here, what we've done is we've created some wonderful, wonderful resources using the power of our wonderful Muppets to handle these difficult conversations. And today, I actually brought a wonderful video that sort of demonstrates some of this. And our wonderful friend, Rosita.
We like show and tell.
Thank you.
Sophia, I'm so angry. I just can't keep it inside.
You shouldn't. It's okay to let your big feelings out.
Even the really, really big feelings?
Sure. There are safe ways to let your feelings out. Like, here, you can hit this pillow.
Excuse me?
It's okay. Rosita, you know you should never hit a person, but hitting a pillow is safe. No one gets hurt, and it can really help let your big feelings out. Go ahead, give it a whack. Come on, you're angrier than that. Go ahead, it's okay. Whack away. All done? Better?
Yeah, better. I guess it is good to let your feelings out.
Right. It's okay to let your big feelings out, and that's for all your big feelings. If you're sad, you can cry. If you're frustrated, you can roar like a dinosaur.
Is that a dinosaur?
Okay, it needs work.
Joining us now is Rosita.
Hello, Miss Alice. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. You have a wonderful view.
Oh, it is a pretty nice view. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad you're here. You know, I think I know, but tell me, how old are you?
I am 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay,
We monsters have 4 fingers.
I was going to say, because you've got 2 hands up there.
Yeah.
So you've had times that have made you upset, but after Sophia showed you what you can do, how'd that make you feel?
Oh, well, that helped me so much to come down, and it made me feel so much better. I'm glad that I learned to do that.
So what do you do other times when you don't have Sophia around? What do you do to make yourself feel better?
Yeah, well, what I learned on Sesame Street from Miss Jeanette Betancourt and other people, and my mommy and my daddy, was I like to build forts with blankets and pillows, and I build it up, and then I go inside with my favorite teddy bear, and I feel safe, yeah? And then when I cannot build a fort, because I'm not at home, you know, I imagine my favorite place, and my favorite place is my bedroom. My bedroom with my guitar, and my puppy dog Teddy, and my favorite blanket, and I feel so good when I imagine my bedroom because it's a safe place.
Oh.
But you know what? I have a favorite technique that I would love for you to do it with me.
Is that
because
right?
it's good for grown-ups too. You know, you stress all the time.
Oh, yes, we are stressed for sure. That's for sure, right?
And this one is really good because sometimes when I have big feelings and I need a hug, what I do is I hug myself like this. Really
like
tight.
this?
You
Like
have to
this?
do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you take a deep breath. And then you let go. And you think how wonderful you are.
I feel better already.
I do too.
You too? See? It works.
I see. I was a little stressed, and this really helped.
Yeah, but
Thank
you know what is my
Rosita.
favorite? Hugs. Yeah, see?
Oh, I want to get in on this.
Oh, my
thank
goodness.
you. Oh, this is the
my
best. This is the best. And you know what I want to find out, Jeanette? We saw in the video what can happen for Rosita. What are you doing to help parents to figure out what they can do to help their children?
This is an incredible initiative because all these resources are freely available at sesamestreetincommunities.org. And they model different ways, whether through videos or an interactive where you can create a safe space, just like what Rosita talked about, or ways that they can color together and take these breathing strategies coming. So everything is there.
And how do we get these resources to kids and their families?
We are actually going into communities and working and providing training and support. But more importantly, now everything is available, again, where I said, at sesamestreetincommunities.org. And it's in English and in Spanish.
And in Espanol.
And in Espanol.
And speaking of Spanish, Rosita, I understand you understand English and Spanish.
Sí, claro.
For our Spanish-speaking audience, will you say to them, there is a lot more to come on American Graduate Day?
Claro que sí. A ver, amigos, hay mucho más aquí en el Día del Graduado Americano. No se vayan.
Oh, I feel good after this. One more hug before we go.
Oh, let's do it.
Oh, thank you so much, so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. In my family, reading with my son was an important part of our day. But some children often fall behind if their parents struggle with language and reading. An organization called Literacy Partners works with parents to improve these skills.
In New York City, 66% of children cannot read at grade level. These children rarely catch up and are 4 times less likely to graduate from high school. One of the biggest predictors of young children learning to read is how often they are read to by their parents. When parents can't read, there is little hope for their children. That's where Literacy Partners comes in. With our free classes, parents gain the language and literacy skills they need so that they can have the confidence to become their children's first teachers.
When he sees me read at night, then he will take up his book and he will read also.
The impact of our work is clear. After taking our classes, parents are 50% more likely to read to their children every day. And as a result, their children progress at a faster rate than their classmates.
Do it for you, do it for your child, do it for your family, do it for your community, do it for your country. It's more than English class. It's a big family working together.
The parents some of them only speak Spanish, some do speak English, not fluently, but that's one of the barriers is the language. My name is Patricia Elizabeth Miranda, and I'm the lead teacher at Chicanos por la Causa. Chicanos por la Causa serves the population in Somerton, the migrants, the low income, who we help out the agriculture field workers, and we help the Hispanic area around Somerton. I'm always trying to speak in English, but if I notice that they're not understanding what I'm saying to them, I visually show them, and if they still don't understand, then I speak to them in Spanish so that way they can understand what I'm trying to teach them in English. We're working to better the children, to have a better future, to understand there's no barriers that you cannot conquer. El mensaje que yo les daría a los papás de que tomen 5 minutos y jueguen con los niños, pasen 5 minutos con ellos leyéndoles un libro, porque el tiempo es muy limitado y no estamos aquí por mucho tiempo. Así que 5 minutos pasándoselas con sus hijos es lo más que nosotros pedimos los maestros.
The great work being done by champions like Patricia Miranda can leave a lasting impact on children. Our next guests are from the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. It's part of the Smithsonian Institute, and it has already drawn 2.5 million visitors in just its first year. The museum has developed a unique education outreach program for children that works with parents, teachers, and youngsters to introduce a new approach to addressing race by recognizing and celebrating diversity in American society. Joining us today from the museum are Anna Hindley and Shannon Crowner, whose outreach work in this area is aimed at some of our youngest students. Ladies, thank you and welcome to both of you for being here. Anna, let me start with you. What's the new approach to teaching children about race?
So, for a long time, people have really felt in the early childhood world that by talking about race, that children then might begin to see race, which might lead to racism and perpetuate ideas that people don't want to perpetuate. But actually, children are recognizing differences. They observe everything around them.
Really at an early age, don't they?
At a very early age. Actually, starting at 6 months, children are already beginning to recognize racial difference.
Because I noticed it with my own child.
Yes, yes. If you've been around young children, you know that they are seeing difference. And so we need to honor them as learners and have productive and meaningful conversations with them.
So why did the museum decide that it was important to create this education outreach program?
So part of the museum's mission is to be a place of healing and reconciliation. And as the lead of the Early Childhood Initiative, I really thought about the words of Frederick Douglass, who said it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so I took that to heart and really thought about what we could do in the museum to do exactly that. And so that's really where this work came out of.
And who are you targeting with this?
So we are very child-centered, thinking about the child, but there's a tribe around every child. So it's really grown to think about the parents, the educators, the adults in the child's life, because we can create meaningful programs at the museum for children, but we're finding really it's the adults that are looking for support on how to do this.
And Shannon, you actually go out into the field. It's one thing in the museum, but then you're out in the field working with directly with students.
Yes.
And what's the approach that they're using to work with students?
So we have a lesson, and I came out of the classroom, and as an educator, I'm able to scaffold a lesson. We normally work with children from ages preschool to 2nd grade, so they're about 3 and 4 years old to about 7 and 8. So we like to talk about the similarities in the children, especially at a younger age, but also the differences as well. Because especially at 3 and 4, they're really starting to learn about self and others. So that's a really good age to catch them and to help teach them about positive self-identity and also about how we treat others with kindness and fairness.
And so what are you doing? What are some of these methods that you're actually using to teach children this new concept? Shannon? Or both of you. Come on, jump in, ladies.
So it goes back to knowing what's happening developmentally with the child. And so for a 3-year-old, it is about uplifting the joy in human diversity, but also finding connections that we have similarities. But then as the child gets older, they're recognizing the injustice and the unfairness in our culture. And so we want them to be able to recognize how they can stand up for themselves and for others when they see unfair treatment happening, so especially related to identity.
And what does that look like? How do you saying children stand up for themselves? So what are you telling children to say? What are you saying to telling them to do?
Right, so one of our main focuses is kind of bullying. So it's about not only standing up for yourself, but also helping others. We talk about how you can help others if you see someone being picked on or being left out, how you can stand up and say, no, that's not right, and help your friends out or stand up for yourself.
We also have a wonderful collection of objects and stories. We can go back to history and use the narrative and the stories from the past to help children concretely understand some of these really abstract ideas.
And I wonder, how do you work with teachers on this? Teachers who are maybe old school, forgive the pun, and thinking that, oh, this is not something we're supposed to be talking about. So what do you do?
Yes, you know, we are very thoughtful in the way we build our programs. We start with relationship building because this, when it gets down to it, is about people.
Relationship building with the teachers or the children?
Both.
First with, okay.
Yeah, but when we're training teachers, we do container building. So we make sure that they feel like they have relationships with us and each other before we really get into some of the heavy stuff. But it starts as an adult. You have to have time to reflect on your own identity and some of your racial journey.
Sure. And how are children responding to this? How are parents and teachers responding to it?
Oh, they're so excited. One of our main lessons is about how we can help others and how we can stand up for others. And they are very encouraged. We ask them, you know, how can you help others at school? How can you help at home? How can you help save the earth?
What do they tell you?
Oh, I help my mommy at home, or we have jobs at school. I get to be the line leader, or we can pick up trash outside. And now you can do they're like, smoking is bad. We shouldn't smoke. That hurts the environment. So they're really excited and they come up with brilliant ideas.
What it does, the children can feel powerless in their life. They have adults making decisions for them all the time. Right. We help to empower and have them see themselves as agents of change and that they have a choice. And that they have a choice to stand up for themselves and others. Yes. For the adults, we're really finding that they're hungry for resources and support. Mm-hmm. So it's been, because we work both with teachers and parents, that it's, of course, talking about such personal subjects, people can be emotional in the response, but overall, it's really been a positive response.
And one of the things you're doing is you're expanding this because this is certainly a topic that everybody needs to know right now. Yes. And people are welcoming of this when you're sending it out there for them to participate in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Listen, I want to thank so much, thank both of you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having
us. As I said, this is a wonderful topic to share with our children, teachers, and our parents, that's for sure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we've heard, knowledge can take the fear out of many things, and that's exactly what our next Stories of Champions is about. A sister station in St. Louis, 9 TV, shows us a champion who teaches kids not about the birds, but the bees.
Welcome back for week 2, Young Honey Crew. First week, We tried the bee suits on, we went outside, we worked on.
My name is Juan William Chavez, and I'm the director of the Northside Workshop.
Welcome back for week 2, Young Honey Crew. And today what we're gonna do is that we're gonna get a little closer to the hive.
Every summer, Chavez gathers the Young Honey Crew, a free program for youth in North St. Louis, which focuses on bees and the bigger picture of how bees work together.
Is that raw honey?
Raw honey.
The kids are introduced to bees and their connection to plants, food, and art.
I just like bees as a metaphor, you know, that bees work together as a group. And the Young Honey Crew, it's a crew, so it's all about coming together and seeing kind of what happens when people rally around ideas.
Bees were quite scary to me because I got stung by a wasp before.
Within the second day, that fear factor is gone and is replaced with curiosity.
Now, since I've been here, bees got much funner.
Pretty cool, huh?
Then I learned how to draw bees, then I know the meaning of bees and stuff. Then it all came to me.
We're not so scared about bees anymore. Across the entire program, we get to meet a diverse collection of groups powered by energetic and devoted American graduate champions. In just this first hour, I'm happy to say that the combined tally of champions is 64,051, and that's in just the first hour, folks. Keep it going. Thank you for providing shining examples of mentorship. We have one of our own mentors standing by with one of her mentees from the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Lab. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Rahima. That's right. I'm with Sophie Sabin, my very good friend. We first met when I was her mentor at Phillips Academy Charter School in Newark, New Jersey. Sophie, tell us, what is the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs?
Well, it's a great program that's nationwide, and it goes to middle and high school students and helps them to teach them about the aspects of journalism and why it's important to be a journalist.
What is it about the program that appealed to you the most? And you don't have to say your mentor because I'm standing right here.
Well, aside from you being my mentor, I feel like it's because it was so hands-on. It taught each and every one of us how to be a journalist and how to figure out the real story. I feel like that's what appealed to me most.
This past summer, you received a very special scholarship in honor of someone who I know meant a great deal to you.
Yeah, I received the Gwen Ifill Legacy Scholarship, and I really loved her as a person. And because of that scholarship, I got the opportunity to intern this summer with a PBS affiliate at NJTV News.
What was it like working as a high school student?
Well, I was the only one there, so that was a little bit nerve-wracking. But aside from that, I really got to see how in-depth it is to be a reporter, and I got to do my own news story too, which really excited me.
And really, you know, I initially started as your primary mentor, but that internship gave you an opportunity to have lots of mentors.
Yes, it did. It gave me a lot of mentors and a lot of people that I can look up to and kind of use them as an example for my own life too.
And speaking of folks that you look up to, I know that when you were in 8th grade, you wrote a letter to Gwen.
Yes, I did. The information that she gave me and the kind of drive and motivation that she gave me, I wanted to impart to my fellow students at my middle school, so I wrote her a letter asking her if she could come to my middle school. I didn't think she would, but lo and behold, she did, and she flew to Newark, and she gave a really great graduation speech.
That is an incredible story. Well, we have a lot more to come with you, and I'm excited to tell everyone at home to stay tuned because you will be doing interviews for this program on Facebook Live. In just a couple seconds, here's your test. What do you have in store for us?
Well, I have a lot in store. I'm going to be interviewing some guests that are coming and kind of figuring out why they come to American Graduate Day and what good advice do they have for young high school students today.
Are you excited to be doing interviews?
I'm so excited. It's the highlight of today, I think, for sure.
Well, I know there's no doubt in my mind as your mentor that you're going to be fantastic. But now we have an opportunity to hear from the fantastic band once more, As You Were.
I wanna follow where she goes. I think about her when she knows it. I wanna.
Our next group is among the many incredible organizations devoted to guiding kids along the pathway to success in school and in life. From coast to coast, they place caring adults inside schools to help students fulfill their potential and march towards graduation and beyond. Across 40 years, Communities in Schools has provided support and guidance while creating better academic foundations. The dynamic engine for their successful work is an army of mentors helping students believe, then achieve, while creating bonds that last a lifetime.
When did you realize that everything would be okay for you? Ooh, I like that question.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
What about me makes you proud?
What was the best memory of high school?
It was finding communities and schools.
What was your first impression of me when we met?
Oh my goodness. You were so little and sweet.
You were one of the first students I met when I started with Communities in Schools. So I think I was a little overwhelmed at first when I met you.
Ooh, this one better be great, okay? What makes you proud about me?
Okay, anyway. But I mean, so many people give up, like, so they're one step away from their dreams coming true. And I've seen people do that all throughout my life. And to watch you arrive at each one of your dreams and like kick the front door in, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes me so proud of you.
My turn. What were the challenges you were facing when you met me?
At that time, I don't know if I told you, but I live in a 2-bed, 1-bath house with a multi-family structure. So it was my parents, my mom and dad, my 4 siblings, including me, my aunt and her 3 children, and my grandparents.
I was just lost. I was depressed, I was lost, I was angry.
One of the challenges in that time was my ex-boyfriend. Right, yeah.
Communities in Schools is amazing, but like, you're the reason why. You know what I'm saying? It's you, it's specifically you.
You changed my life. You gave me lots of hope, you know, lots of hope for the future.
Community in Schools is full of chosen people with pure hearts.
If this was to be our very last conversation, what would you want me to know?
Thank you for teaching me how to handle stress, how to handle struggles. Thank you for realizing something I didn't have that you saw in me. Thank you for being there.
Thank you for everything. To actually go to college and know that I could do it and be somebody in this world, like there's actually nobody ever that's been there for me, like consistently, you know, and I would honestly have to say thank you, you know, and I love you so much.
Cano, can he get it on? Nice play! Nice play, Robbie Cano!
Lob to the gap in right center. Springer looking up, and a grand slam!
Hola, soy Robinson Cano, el segunda base de los Marineros de Seattle.
Here comes Cano. Nobody else makes that play. 2 down.
Mi consejero era mi padre, quien siempre estaba disponible, quien siempre estuvo ahí para mí, siempre me ayudaba, siempre se preocupaba que yo fuera a la escuela. Me ayudó bastante en el juego, dentro y fuera. Que hasta hoy en día es la persona con quien hablo todos los días, nos mantenemos en contacto. Cuando no querías ir a la escuela un día, que a veces uno como niño se queda dormido, siempre buscaba la manera de cómo castigarme o buscar una manera de motivarme. Pero de verdad que alguien que le agradezco bastante hasta hoy en día ha sido el consejero mío y a quien le agradezco bastante. La corporación de City Year es una corporación que ayuda bastante a los niños. Una de las cosas que más me llamó la atención en la ciudad de Seattle, de donde vengo, donde los niños a veces no pueden ir a la escuela porque no tienen los padres cómo pagarla. o no tienen cómo comprar los zapatos o los cuadernos. Y ver cómo los profesores en City Year le dedican el tiempo a los estudiantes, lo ayudan para que sean una mejor persona en un mañana. Ser un americano graduado, campeón, ser un consejero.
Going back, looking up, that baby's gone! Home run number 300 for Robinson Cano, the superstar. He steps up, and we got a new ball game.
Stay tuned for more American Graduate Day!
Don't go anywhere.
Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, a principal dancer of the American Ballet Theater, Misty Copeland, and acclaimed chef and restaurateur, Marcus Samuelsson.
Hi, I'm Misty Copeland, and it's great to be a part of American Graduate Day. It's so vital for our youth to have mentors. One of my biggest inspirations and a mentor to me is Raven Wilkinson. She is a former ballerina with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. I learned about her story from watching a documentary on the Ballet Russe. It was incredible to learn about a Black woman who was dancing in an all-white company in the 1950s, the first and only to dance in that company. Having someone to be able to look at and see myself through gave me so much strength. Raven Wilkinson has been a really big part of why I'm here today.
You let go. Ba-rump on the knee. Let's see.
I was so inspired by her and her story and her strength and her perseverance that it inspired me to write my children's book, Firebird. It's sharing this journey of having an older ballerina supporting a younger ballerina. It's a beautiful story of mentorship. Having a community center like the Boys and Girls Club, I think, is so extremely important for young kids. The Boys and Girls Club has been such a part of my life from the time I was starting out with my training at a Boys and Girls Club, where I took my first ballet class at the age of 13. Having the mentors there at my club took a huge role in shaping who I am today. I'm still so indebted and grateful to the Boys and Girls Club for giving me the opportunities that I have, and it's important for us to all support each other and have those mentors in our life. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor, like Raven.
If not for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the world of dance may never have seen the remarkable artistry of Misty Copeland. Hello, I'm Michael Hill, and I'm pleased to be a part of today's conversations. Since 1997, school districts without music programs have turned to VH1 Save the Music Foundation for new musical instruments and plenty of support. Music programs across the country have taken root and, as a result, flourished, inspiring student achievement while enhancing millions of lives. With us are Mr. Kevin George, Superintendent of the St. John the Baptist Parish Public School System, and Jay Morgan, a 9th grader at East St. John High School. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kevin, I'm familiar with many of the rural areas of Louisiana, the river parishes as we call them. Can you describe for us the community of St. John the Baptist Parish and where is it exactly located?
Yes, St. John the Baptist Parish is located at about 30 miles west of New Orleans, and it's right between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We have a economic corridor with a lot of manufacturing, a lot of chemical plants and whatnot, and it's just a great area to be in.
And football is very popular there, I know.
Absolutely.
Back in 2013, when you became superintendent of the school district there, why did you reach out to VH1 Save the Music Foundation?
Well, when I got there, we had no music programs in any of our elementary schools. If a child wanted to participate in music, they had to wait until they got into high school. So I said, well, look, we need to change that. A chance meeting happened with myself and Ms. Chio Feinler from the Save the Music Foundation, and it just was a match made in heaven. She was excited to help us. We were excited to implement music programs into our schools, and I'm proud to say that right now, every single one of our elementary schools have a music program.
That's remarkable. Jay, you joined the music program not that long ago. You're a freshman now, But back in middle school, what made you decide to join the music program?
Well, I have always had a talent for music, a passion, a love for it. And there was no music program at the school. So it was just like my life was no rhythm. But when the VH1 Save the Music came, it's like all the joy came back into me. I was able to join the band at LES, and I was very excelling with it.
Can you talk about how this program has been an incentive for you and what it's meant for your classmates in terms of going to school and doing well in school?
In terms of going to school, like football, if you have to have good grades in order to play on the team. So for the band, if you have bad grades, you can't participate, or you just basically take like a few minutes and drop out of the band. And once you get your grades up, then you'll be able to fluctuate more in the band because it requires your academics and your talent. So with me, my understanding, I had there was no music, so basically what I was waiting for high school. And when the high school came, I was going to be ready to join the band because I've been an honor roll student my whole life, so there was no need for me to have the band and keep my grades up because I was both excelling at both of them since elementary.
But music was missing your life. Tell me, what does learning an instrument and what does doing well with an instrument, what does it do about for your confidence in school and with other things that you might find hard to do in life?
What things I find hard to do in life, kids can learn from being inspired with the instrument. With this instrument, they can learn more. They can learn more beyond just throwing the football. They can go to colleges on scholarships with music and not just have to go on scholarship for football or getting hurt or things like that. They can be able to learn more and mentally with their head and have it in their mind when they go to college like Southern, and they'll be able to just play the music.
Music is your passion now, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
I can tell it is. Kevin, in addition to the performance and the benefits of playing and enjoying music, have you seen an academic benefit to students in a program like this?
Absolutely. I think when music programs, we always make this joke about when you talk to kids that are involved in band or in music programs, you never run across a kid that is academically low. All of those kids are performing well academically, and we believe it is a part of the music because of their musical training. You know, when I got there in 2013, we were a low C district. Right now, we're proud to say that we're a B district, and I strongly believe that because of those music programs, it has really helped our kids not only learn and be able to participate in music, but also has helped them academically.
Because you're reaching them in a different way.
Absolutely. We're teaching the entire child. It's not just about the 4 core subjects. It's also about those opportunities for our children.
Kevin, when districts lose music programs and arts programs and things like that because of budget cuts, and we've seen it across America, what are they really losing?
They're losing the soul of their district. I believe when people say, well, we can't afford to implement a music program, we can't afford not to. Kids like Jay, they need those opportunities for us to give them just many platforms and able to show what they can do beyond just the written academic work. We have to educate the entire child, and that's what we're doing in St. John the Baptist Parish.
Kevin George, Jay Morgan, thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming in. And thanks to you and to VH1 Save the Music Foundation. We'll keep the music playing, and as they say in New Orleans, let the good times roll.
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's look at an American institution that's more than a century old and boasts an amazing 2.4 million members. And that number is sure to swell with the recent announcement that they will be expanding programs to include girls in the near future. They are the Boy Scouts of America. Following the scouting motto of Be Prepared, their Exploring program prepares 120,000 boys and girls with some very important life and career skills through immersive experiences and mentorships provided by more than 5,000 businesses throughout the USA.
I'm Tom Donahue. I'm President and Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States. We are a country with people without jobs and jobs without people. One of the issues that business should focus on is exploring. because we're training young people about specific industries. We're defining for them what they need to do in schooling to end up with good jobs, and we're bringing together people that need workers and people that are going to be workers.
I'm Didi Aranki, and I'm in the Aviation Explorers Post 445. I live right across the street from the airport. I've lived there my entire life, and annually they have an airport day here. So public gets to come in. I just kind of pop my head in all the time. And the Explorer Post here, they had a booth. They just kind of drawed me right in. They had a bunch of kids there, all in their red shirts. They had a poster and just had all the amazing activities that they do. I was just so enthralled. I found out that it's not just, flying and piloting. There's mechanics, there's avionics, there's so many other things, and I fell in love with the mechanics aspect of it. And because I fell in love with the mechanics side of it, I'm pursuing that as a career. I'm going to school, taking my classes, and in 2 to 3 years, I'll be a certified airframe and power plant mechanic. I found out that I loved aviation because of the Exploring program. There's just so many different outlets and different programs. You may find what you love without even knowing what it is.
I think exploring is extraordinary because it helps lots of young men and women get a taste and an understanding of different industries, but more important than that, a clear understanding what they have to do in school and in their life to prepare themselves for good jobs in a new and technological era.
My name's Keith, and I'm an Exploring Post 725.
When Keith first told me he was interested in the Explorer program, I wasn't shocked and I wasn't surprised at all. I'm proud of my son to be going into this career field because it's truly a self-sacrifice. It teaches you about civics, and it also teaches you your responsibility to your community.
Freshman and sophomore year, I used to get bullied a lot because I was a little small, scrawny dude. Looking at myself back then to now, it's really big. I smile a lot more, I'm a lot more friendly. I have a louder voice. I used to be really quiet, didn't talk as much, but the Explorer program really helped me command presence.
I wish every kid I knew could just go be an explorer. I thank Boy Scouts of America, the Police Explorer program, the City of Las Vegas. I have a lot of people to thank because everyone helped to put my son where he is right now.
I think it's very, very important for companies because they're looking at their future workers and they have to understand what they have to do to help educate them, to stay in touch with them after they've been in contact with them, and to figure out how to hire them instead of somebody else getting them. Exploring, discover your future.
We're going to be working in the language, working in the arts, working with our food. We're going to be working together. Walking into a classroom and sitting down works for some folks. When we have young people in our communities that are facing depression, addiction, suicides, we acknowledge and then we diagnose just that thing. But a long time ago, we worked with the entire person. We have done things for time immemorial because it calls to us.
You can just see the kids gravitate towards her and really somebody to look up to. I feel like it's really rooted them in a sense of community. I feel like they're really proud of everything they're doing.
So we decided that when we wanted to do Tlingit language, that it would have to encompass natural settings. So we came out as far as we could to make sure we didn't have cell phone reception and that the only connections that we had were with each other. I always ask my students, what has a spirit? Everything has a spirit. These rocks, these flowers, these trees, this air, this land, the water. All of these things are a part of who we are.
The spirit of giving helps young people to feel a sense of kinship, and no other organization spreads the feeling of family like Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. For more than 100 years, they have done life-changing work by matching bigs with littles in long-term mentorships that have a proven record of success. We are thrilled that appearing with us today, out of 150,000 matches, is the Big Brother of the Year, Terrence Daniels, along with his little Terrell Blue. You can see the ripple effect right here, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. You're from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Welcome to you both. Terrence, congratulations. This is an amazing honor. Out of all these matches across America, you're the Big Brother of the Year. Tell us, what inspired you to begin with to become a Big Brother?
So I was a little myself. I was in the program for 8 months, and it's something that just never left me. So I always knew that I wanted to give back when the time was right. So I hit the age of 21. I felt that I was ready to mentor, right? That's a perfect age to do it.
Right.
So I signed up for the program, and they matched me with Terrell Blue here, and it's just been an amazing journey ever since. So
now, bigs get to choose their little. What made you choose Terrell? What was about his story that said he's the one?
So there were 3 potential littles that they gave me information on, and I always joke with Terrell because the other 2 actually lived closer to my house. And Terrell lived in a neighborhood that was kind of far out, but I heard his story. And
so you had to go farther to get to him?
Further to get to him. It was more work. It was a lot more work. So, but no, when I heard his story, I knew that I had to be involved and that, you know, this was a situation that I could definitely come in and make some type of a difference. So,
Terrell, how old were you at the time, and what was going on in your life?
Well, I was 11 years old when he came into my life. What was going on was I lost my little brother at the age of 3. Both of my parents were incarcerated. I got split up between my little brother and little sisters, and big brother and big sister. My brother lived in South Carolina, and like they all moved. I got separated from everybody. My aunt took me in. I was going through a hard time trying to get back on a good path, a steady path. It's just I had no one really there. Like none of that was always in my life. I had no one there no more. They was all gone.
It sounds like you needed some kind of a rescue. Terrence stepped into the picture. What was your goal in becoming Terrell's big?
The first thing that I told myself was to just be consistent. Hearing his story, losing everyone, like he just mentioned, I knew that I wanted to be someone that he can count on that was there day in and day out. So just between communication, you know, being in the military, there are times where I've had to leave for months in, but I always made sure that I kept that consistency with Terrell in our communication and building the relationship to what it is today.
Now, you're in the reserves. You actually went to Iraq. Did you stay in touch with him?
Yes, the whole time. He would write me letters, and we had social media, so I would be able to talk to him via there and phone calls. So that was really good.
Terrell, it seems like you guys have forged a really terrific bond here. What do your friends think of Terrence?
At first, when I first met him, I didn't like him. I didn't know him. He was just a tall black guy that came in, and I didn't really get to know him like that. But as he showed me like consistent and kept showing up and like, oh, I'm not gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna get you through it. I'm gonna help you get better. And that was something I needed. So when he first came around, my friends were, who is he? We don't know him, but eventually they all start to look up to him. Like, he's doing well. He got twins. He's taking care of them. He always got a smile on his face. Wow. Got 2 cars, a motorcycle, and a house. Like, what's not to look up? He's a good role model to look at and look up to. And he ain't no superhero, but he doing his thing.
He's hero enough.
Yes, yeah.
Now, you graduated from high school. What are your plans now?
Well, I've actually joined the military, the National Guard as well. I leave on the 24th in 2 weeks now. Well, a week and a half, I should say. And when I come back, I'll be going to school for dentistry, either going to UC or going to a school in Dayton that my doctor also told me about.
Tell me how this man has changed your life.
A lot of ways. The way I think, the way I go about things, and the way I just look at situations now. It helps me go about a lot of things better. So he's with grades, with just trying not being caught up in the bad situations, just walking away, doing the right thing. It ain't really that serious. So he taught me a lot. He's taught me a lot.
Giving you good advice?
Yes.
Good direction?
Yes.
You trust him?
Yes, I do.
Tell me why.
Cause that consistency. I mean, if you gonna come in my life and you just gonna leave, why would I trust you? he came into my life and he stayed. I mean,
it sounds like he came in at one of the worst times and he stuck around.
Yes.
Why'd you stick around?
Again, I saw what he needed, you know, and his background of losing his brother, you know, to a murder from, you know, someone that was close to his family, was just something that I definitely wanted to be really hands-on as far as, and I always believe in leading by example. You know, we joke when I was in college, he was in high school, and we would compare our grades. And one semester, he actually got better grades than I did. I had a C in a class I thought I would do better in, and so I had to buy him dinner. So just showing him, like, you know, here I am, a guy that's just came out of the situations that you've been in, and just giving a little insight on how to be successful.
Terrence the Big, Terrell the Little. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You can see the ripple effect that mentoring can have right here. There are 30,000 kids waiting for a big brother or sister. Why not sign up and start a ripple of your own? Who knows where it will end? Maybe like this. Help comes, as you know, in all forms, from mentors to groups help excelling the teachers. With a focus on under-resourced communities, the Kids in Need Foundation delivers free school supplies to classrooms across the country. Lauren is standing by with the Executive Director of Kids in Need Foundation, Dave Smith, and School Superintendent Kevin George once again. Lauren?
Thank you, Michael. We are going to jump right in and ask Dave to tell us more about the Kids in Need Foundation and its mission.
It's very simple, Lauren. Our mission is to see that every child is prepared to learn and succeed in the classroom, and we do that by providing school supplies to students most in need across the country. We do that through really 4 main initiatives. The first is a national network of 40, we call them teacher resource centers, where teachers from low-income schools can go in and shop for items to take back to the classroom. I put quotation marks around shop because the items are free. There's no cash register. Second is a grant program where teachers can apply for a grant to get school supplies for their entire classroom. Third is we call School Ready Supplies, or a backpack program, where we have sponsors, everything from a neighborhood group to a family foundations to very large corporations, sponsor backpack giveaways, again, to students in need. And our fourth one is called Second Responder, where we give school supplies to students impacted by natural disasters. And you can imagine we're a little busy right now down in Southeast Texas and in Florida. To give you some idea of the scope of the numbers, there's about 16 million kids in the United States who live in poverty today. Last year, we were able to distribute about $130 million of the product to more than 5 million students. So big numbers, but a long way to go.
An amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that portion. Superintendent, I have not forgotten about you over there. Hi, Kevin. Tell us what happens when teachers don't have the tools they need to teach and students don't have the supplies they need to learn in the classroom.
Well, what happens there is that teachers worry about other things besides instruction. I mean, they have to worry about how they're going to have the supplies. What can they do to make sure that the kids have what they need in order to be able to participate in class? And so it just takes their mind off of their focus, which should be instruction.
There is a pyramid of boxes behind me. Dave, let's toss it back to you. Tell me, what is UB and what's inside these boxes?
UB is a manufacturer of creative, colorful, innovative, fun school supplies. And inside each one of these boxes is 30 little smaller packs, enough for an entire classroom of students. And each little pack has inside of crayons, pencils, glue sticks, the basics for the classroom.
You have something very exciting to share with us all on TV right now.
We do, Kevin. We know about the economic challenges you face in your district, and so we're going to send one of these classroom packs to each one of your classrooms in your district, about 160, I understand that is. For each one of your classrooms, we'll send those down there, and that's enough to impact about 5,000 students.
That is amazing. That is a great news. That is great. I mean, I just met Dave today, and you're like Santa Claus, man. Thank you so much.
Superintendent, what is this going to mean to your students and your teachers?
Well, you know, when you have all the tools that you need, now you can just focus on teaching and learning. And that's what we want our teachers and our principals and our kids to worry about, teaching and learning in the classroom. We don't want you worried about the supplies. We'll give you all that. Just come ready to learn, and we'll take care of the rest.
You're going to have to bring all of this home. I think you'll need a little more space in the overhead bin on the plane. What do you think?
Yes, they might get upset with me.
All right, and now we're going to toss it back to the band, As You Were.
With every breath that I take, I want you to share that air with me.
I was lucky because I had all sorts of mentors from a young age. Mine was a teacher at Kirby Hall named Mrs. Wolf in 3rd grade. There's just a warmth when you got into her classroom that kind of resonated throughout. I definitely think it matters to have non-parental support, just because there's some conversations you don't really want to have with your parents all the time. You know, there were conversations that I could have with a mentor and maybe be a little bit more vulnerable. I say nobody has benefited from our foundation more than I have. You know, you lose a Wimbledon final and people look at you for the next month when you're walking around town like you're a lost puppy or something. You know, having the perspective of, listen, we deal with kids who are dealing with problems of not having food on the table, or, you know, a single parent living paycheck to paycheck to try to support their kids. Like, what I was dealing with wasn't a real problem, and I think that perspective was so important for me. So I was the one learning. Maybe the best conversation I had, which just made me feel whole inside, was I was leaving Pecan Springs a couple years ago. The janitor who had worked at the school for 25 some odd years came up and said, "Are you that Roddick Foundation guy?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I just got to tell you, these kids are walking around. I've never seen them happier, more productive. I've never seen the parents in a better place." And so that little conversation made a decade of work just worthwhile.
FIRST is a mentor-based program that inspires students to collaborate and compete in interscholastic contests using engineering, math, computers, and robotics that can open doors to lasting careers. Michigan teacher Scott Heister began mentoring his school's first robotics team that saw increased engagement, attendance, and test scores, while Scott saw an opportunity to apply a new approach to learning.
We founded the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College 4 years ago based on FIRST principles. Our program blurs the lines between a traditional high school and college. Our students come to us as freshmen and they'll leave us with a high school diploma and an associate's degree after 5 years.
I definitely learned a lot from being homeschooled, but I would have never learned as much as I have now from being involved with the robotics team and being involved with the STEM Middle College. It helped me a lot with my math. I'm definitely doing a lot better than what I ever thought I would have at this point in time.
Ever since I was little, I always liked to build things. I was always interested in robotics. The very thing that I like about Team 66 is that every time I'm here, they always teach me something.
Students at the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College and Team 66 come from an urban at-risk community where success has been far and few between. The majority of our students are first-generation college students.
I was taken from my biological father and mother because of how abusive they were to me. I love to build, I love the engineering. Finding out about that program, it completely changed my life.
I love being on Team 66. I'm using math that I'm learning from my STEM classes. I'm using the stuff that I learned in my engineering class. If I don't know what I'm doing or what's going on, someone always is there to help me.
Making projects to show my knowledge is really an awesome opportunity because it helps me learn and it helps me show people that I can do more when I use my hands and when I speak out loud than what I would do if I was just taking tests.
The average graduation rate before our two schools merged was 69%. The graduation rate of the STEM Middle College is over 90%. The opportunities that Team 66 has afforded this community has actually provided a stepping stone for our students to successes beyond anyone's imagination.
Currently, I'm involved in a CubeSat satellite program with the University of Michigan where we design a small cube that will be shot into space and orbit around for 100 years. Right now, we're making the prototype with U of M students so that we can understand the physics and the logics of it before we actually launch.
In the 8th grade, I wasn't proficient in science and math. After being a student in the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College, I graduated with 32.5 credits and am now attending Oakland University to study computer science.
So many of our students come to us broken, and they leave us with a hope of a better future.
I love being here, and I would never, ever forget this place.
Horizon Salisbury has been in existence for 15 years. This is our 15th summer. We focus on children who have great learning potential, but not the resources to continue that learning throughout the summer. We bring those students into the Horizons program with the anticipation that they will overcome the academic achievement gap that may be there.
How's everybody doing today? Good? Yeah.
Horizons works around building the entire student. And so what we do is we encourage them to come back and help other students to give back. And they come back now as CITs, which are counselors in training, and they work with students on their level and also give back and helping them to be the best student that they can be.
They helped me, so now I want to give back and help out other students. The kids' faces, they just like light up, and like they have so much fun here.
To see them achieve something that they didn't think that they could, and like, oh, I did this. Those are the things that just draw me to the Horizons program, to see the students as they grow and realize that they are valuable and that they have value in our community.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Hey everybody, my name is Chef Marcus Samuelsson, and I'm super excited to be part of American Graduate Day. The reason why I'm a chef and own my own restaurant is because I had some great mentors. So Chef Charlie Trotter, an amazing chef in Chicago, and Miss Leah Chase in New Orleans. They taught me a lot about work ethic, pushing through, staying curious, and always keep learning. And that's something that I want to give back to my young cooks. Career Through Culinary Arts Program, or CCAP, as we call it, was founded by Richard Grousman over 25 years ago. It's an amazing program with really focus on inner city youth, and it's really learning life skills through cooking. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of kids across the country to get scholarship to go to college. When they're in college, they've also managed to find mentors that really guided them through all the ups and downs that can happen while they're in college. And in the kitchen, you're gonna meet Kalisha. She's a young mentee, a CCAP grad, and she's doing really great in the kitchen.
I joined CCAP as a junior in high school. Now I am a junior sous chef at Red Rooster Harlem, where Chef Marcus Samuelsson is my mentor.
There you go, that's your breakfast.
Thank you, Chef.
Ask me whatever wants this.
He always pushed me to do better and be better and try to stand out and make a name for myself and make myself known in like a positive light.
We happened to open our restaurant in London. Kalisha was fortunate enough to come with us to London to get international experience. She also came with me to Sweden.
It was amazing. I did not want to leave.
Yeah.
No.
What goals do you have for yourself?
Open up my own restaurant, of course.
Nice.
I want to be able to be somebody that I needed when I was younger.
Become an American Graduate Champion, just like I had some fantastic mentors like Chef Charlie Trotter and Miss Leah Chase.
And just like Chef Marcus is to me.
All right.
Chef Samuelsson is a prime example of how one person's mentorship leads to unimagined success for others. For more than 15 years, Autism Speaks' mission has been to help children and adults who are on the autism spectrum, as well as their families and the community at large, to better understand the complex nature of autism. Recently, Autism Speaks began addressing another important issue: how to find roles in the country's workforce for an aging autistic population. So with us today from Autism Speaks are Angela Geiger, she's the president and CEO, and Lisa Goring is the chief program and marketing officer. It's nice to have you guys, appreciate it. Let's begin with you, if we can, Angela. You have a kind of a shift here. Tell me about this new strategy and why did you decide it was such an important thing to do?
So Autism Speaks has a decade-long, even more than a decade-long, real reputation for building awareness and also particularly focused on early diagnosis and timely intervention. But as we've made so much gains in the research we funded and we started listening to the community, we realized that transition to adulthood needs to be added to that mission.
It's hard for everybody, but if you are autistic, there are added challenges, of course.
Of course, and the idea that making sure people have the support they need to be successful, because you're an adult with autism a lot longer than you're a kid with autism, and making sure people are prepared for really successful, meaningful lives.
So once you decided that you would grow in this new direction, what were the first steps to kind of bringing that into the organization?
So one of the things that had already been going on, and Lisa really led, was working on employment. And we know that one of the best success factors for people being employed after they graduate is having employment while they're in school. So making sure that employment is a real important part of those transition plans into adulthood.
Lisa, let's talk about your son. He's roughly the same age as my nephew, 21.
Right.
Explain to folks just how hard it is for a young person who's at that age where every other kid would be looking for their first job. And there are some additional challenges if you're autistic.
Right. So that's why it's so important that we really encourage families to start that transition planning, excuse me, way before 21. To really start at 12, 14, start to think about job sampling. Make sure that that's a part of your individual education program so that when you do leave the school system, you have the experience that puts you at a competitive advantage.
That's such a great point. I would not have thought as early as 12, right? You think 17, 18,
right.
Really by then it's kind of late.
Right, some of the skills that you may want to really get under your belt before you're actually out in the community and at a job site.
What do you think schools should be doing to help kids prepare really for the workforce, kids who are autistic?
To really assess their strengths as well as some of their challenges and work with that student and their families to come up with plans that provide meaningful work for them. They can be some of our best employees. They're focused and they can really, especially tasks that may be repetitive but complex, kids with autism can do really well at those tasks.
Angela, you have been partnering with companies to really make this happen. Tick off for me some of the folks you're working with and what they bring to you.
So I think one of the most important things for people to recognize is the spectrum of autism. So there are job things, everything from computer programming to folding napkins and everything in between. So really focusing on what individual strengths are and finding the job that fits. And we find that when you find that job that fits, the retention rates are longer and productivity is often higher. So whether that's something like TIAA in a farm in California, to Cintas doing work all across the country in kind of more service industry, to right here in New York City, Spectrum Designs making T-shirts. They're actually the T-shirts that we use for our walk program all across the country.
And when you have that kind of relationship with an organization, often they then come back to you and say, we need more young people. What makes it work? What do they say that they need that's working?
I think the best companies really start with a focus on the individual with autism and then build the coaching and support around that. And then again, those are the employees that tend to last the longest and be the happiest over the long term.
So Lisa, I mean, a paycheck is great, obviously. Everybody wants their kid to go make some money. But it really isn't, no job is just about the paycheck, right?
It's about being a part of the community, feeling that sense of responsibility and accomplishment. And that's what I think everybody's looking for.
Angela, if you had some business leaders here who were on the fence, because I think for some people they think, I'm not sure. What would you say to convince them that this is the right thing to do and from a business perspective, a worthwhile business maneuver for them?
I think not only is it a win-win to meet business objectives, but often it helps with people who are federal employment contracts have a diversity mandate of how many people they need to employ. But the other thing we're finding more and more is employers that employ people with autism and other disabilities are really looked at as best places to work. It makes their employees proud to be a part of the kind of company who embraces that kind of diversity.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of that. And how about for the young people who get jobs? Tell me what you see in them as they become gainfully employed and contributing.
So being employed, obviously the paycheck is important, but it really is that sense of community. And we continue to see that they grow and develop in other ways. So they are more interested in being out in the community, being able to spend that paycheck. There's a young man who talks about the first time he could take his parents out for dinner. And so, those are really proud moments. And that's really part of why this is just so important.
Yeah, it's really important and really just amazing. So congratulations to both of you. I like this new shift. We've been with Autism Speaks for the very beginning, so I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Opening new doors for employees and employers is also at the root efforts by Best Buddies, by fostering friendships and leadership skills and employment opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Best Buddies International is unlocking the fearless potential and boundless abilities of workers who are ready to soar.
What is my potential?
If no one ever tells me I have any.
What are my dreams?
What are my dreams?
If nobody else can see them.
Can I be a translator?
Can I be a singer?
Can I ever be anything?
Some days I'm afraid I can't.
I feel alone.
But aren't we all afraid?
Afraid and lonely.
And lonely some days?
I've been told.
What I cannot do.
But what can I do? I can listen to you cry when your dreams and your days don't match.
I'm a friend.
I'm a sister.
I can make you laugh.
When you need it most.
I am filled with love.
Now can you see my potential?
I can't.
I can't.
Because it has no boundaries.
When you think I've reached my potential,
I'm just getting started.
I will not just dance. I will translate for those who cannot hear.
I will make a living at the job I love.
And be valued as a true team member.
my fingers will glide across the piano, and I will fill your ears with song.
I will not just do a job, but I will do it with passion.
Are you someone who gets stage fright?
I'm not.
I'm not.
Are you afraid?
Are you afraid of what you can't do?
That's how everyone feels.
That's how everyone feels.
But I am not afraid today.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
I'm a leader.
Today is full of potential.
And for me,
today
is just the beginning.
Isn't it like cooking with a camp stove?
For Chris Gradeville, the decision to be a mentor was easy.
Growing up where I did in Omaha, Nebraska, I always had mentors in my life that helped me along the way.
Chris is a big brother to Charlie Perry as part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program.
We go to the Chiefs hockey games, we'll go just down Riverfront Park, take the dog for a walk.
And then there's baseball.
Throw, attaboy.
Chris played professionally for 5 years.
Good, nice job.
Now Charlie plays in the Buddy League for special needs athletes.
Good job.
Usually I'm the batter or outfielder.
Step and throw.
Charlie has Asperger's syndrome, so Chris works with him on social skills and being comfortable in public.
Because those are life skills that he's going to need to know as he grows older.
But it wasn't always like this.
Nice job. The first night I met him, we went out for ice cream, and he didn't say anything but 2 words.
Charlie was 10 then.
Just like that. Perfect. Good job. Have you learned about kindling and Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
High school next year, which is a big step, and he's going to be just fine. He works well with the other kids at school, and he is a kind-hearted human being. Nice job, buddy.
A friendship both cherish.
Well, I like him first off. Plus, it does feel like something special is happening.
Strengthened by a sport they both love.
Ball hits, hold it. Perfect.
Special people work with special needs children, and our next group has a unique way to make a perfect match. It's called Athletes for Kids. They pair high school athletes with special needs students. Who benefits more is up for debate. Joining us today from their home and outside of Seattle is Amy Stotts. Her son, Zach, is a mentee in Athletes for Kids. And Tomas Cardenas, he is Zach's mentor. Thank you, guys. I know you made the big haul, so we certainly appreciate you. So, Amy, why don't you, thank you, appreciate that. Start off by telling me a little bit about Zach.
He's 14, in 8th grade. He loves acting and loves to watch sports, and also has a lot of challenges. He's spent a lot of time in the hospital. He's had 20 different surgeries. He's he has a syndrome that has
What's it called?
It's called Kabuki syndrome, and it carries a lot of different, or causes a lot of different challenges for him: physical mobility, cognitive delay, hearing loss.
While you've been talking, we've been showing some very cute pictures of Zach on the screen. So, Tomas, explain to me what the group does.
So, Athletes for Kids is a youth mentoring program that pairs high school athletes with kids with special needs and disabilities. But what we try to say to a lot of people is it's not really about being an athlete. Really, it's more about the kids. And what I stress to a lot of people is that it's not really about being someone that's always there for them. It's moreover about being someone that's always there as a genuine person. I feel like a lot of people in programs are there for people just because they're in a program, right? But we're there as a genuine friend, right? We're not just there because we're in a program. We're there to be with them and be there throughout their entire.
Walk me through some of the things that you and Zach do together. What was it like when you met Zach for the first time?
So when I first met Zach, really, we played a lot of things that made him comfortable. We played a lot of Legos, and as part of my job, being a mentor of him, was I wanted to stretch him out of that. I wanted to stretch myself as well, being a mentor, but also him. And I wanted to start doing some things that made him step out of his comfort zone. We'd step outside, you know, we'd play sports. Yeah, that's some of the things we do, but now we play a lot of card games. We just try to mix it up a lot.
What did you notice in Zach when he started having mentoring? Tomas, I know, is his third mentor.
Yeah.
So what did you see from before he had a mentor till now?
Well, Zach himself will say that he has a lot of trouble fitting in and knowing what to say to people and knowing what to do next and things like that. And I've noticed just such growth with him. Tomas brings out a really funny side to him, and Tomas is right there emotionally. And even I've watched him struggling physically with something, and Tomas just puts his hands over Zach's hands and helps him. And it's really warming to see that.
Do you think strategically about these things, Tomas? I mean, I know that Zach's in a new school. So do you sit down and say, okay, new school, here's a plan for you know, what I want to get out of this experience for Zach?
I mean, I feel like some people can take it like that, but to me it's natural. You know, I'm going to hang out with my friend, and I understand the things that he's going through. I understand just his life, but to me, I'm his friend, and I go through there, and I have things in mind, right? I understand what I'm supposed to do in my role in his life, but I'm trying to be as genuine as possible, and I feel like if I were to strategically plan something out, it wouldn't be genuine.
Often, I think in mentoring, people often think the mentee is the one who's sort of getting all the benefits, and that is often not the case. Who's getting more out of this relationship?
And that's something else that I stress a lot. It's, you know, it's a win-win on both sides. I feel like a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, it's, you know, be the mentee that wins this, but no, Zach has stretched me a lot to grow as a person.
How's he stretched you?
He's having him, you know, step out of his comfort zone makes me step out of my comfort zone, because maybe going outside and being someone's role model, that's a big challenge. And it's a big challenge that I was reluctant to get into, but, you know, it's very anxious and it's hard to get into, but when you do it, it's a big role to take over.
How does Zach handle having different mentors? I know you're in your senior year of high school, so this is a special year, but you might separate after that.
You know, the mentors that he's had have stayed in his life. It's been really, really beautiful. He's had such a special bond that he still sees his old mentor, Sam. And I can't imagine that you won't continue to come and hang out with us sometimes, show up at birthday parties and family gatherings. He just has fit right into our family, and he really is a true friend to Zach. I see that. It's not, I don't see it as a job for him.
Sort of like the more the merrier when it comes to mentors. I have that same philosophy as well. So you end of your senior year. What happens in terms of mentoring for you?
Well, I'm not technically going to be a part of the program after this, but what it is like I said, it's a genuine relationship. And as I move on from high school, I won't be a part of the program like I mentioned, but what it is, I'm going to be still a part of his life. I'm a friend of his. You know, we're still going to keep in contact. I'm going to be in the state. So it's going to keep on going from there.
Oh, good. I love that. Amy, in our final minute, so what has it meant to you to have Tomas as part of your family, really?
Well, I've said to someone before that, you know, Zach has so many people involved in his life. Teachers, doctors, nurses. He has a wonderful, supportive family. But we're all expected to interact with him in some way and be supportive, and we want to. But Tomas is there just because he likes Zach, and he's really a true friend to him. And so it's just been so, I don't know, inspirational to me, and just so important to see Zach be excited when he's coming over, and just really, I don't know, just really grow with him. And
thank you.
It's
a perfect friendship.
Really important.
I love that. Great. Well, Amy and Tomas, thank you guys so much for joining me. Talk about the program. It's amazing. Obviously, being a mentor has changed Tomas's life. If this story inspired you, you can go to AmericanGraduate.org and click on Be a Mentor to find opportunities in your area. Now let's take a look at another one of our stories of champions coming to us from sister station NPT in Nashville, Tennessee. Poppy Steele is just one of the amazing champions that we're recognizing today. The professionals and volunteers in all of the nonprofits we've met so far totals 2,418,320, all of them champions.
Good listening. I saw Miss Kinley first. come on up.
This is Sign Club, a Middle Tennessee nonprofit that connects deaf children with hearing children through sign language.
About 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents, and at least 75% of those parents never learn to sign. So these children grow up in homes frequently isolated within the home, and then they get to school and they don't have friends at school who can communicate with them or teachers who can communicate with them. So our deaf children frequently sit by themselves at lunch or play by themselves on the playground. So that's what Sign Club does. We try to eliminate that isolation and make friends.
The way Steele sees things, it's a win-win for everyone, regardless of hearing ability.
Sign language is a benefit to deaf children and hearing children to improve literacy. But the truth is, what we do is build relationships because there's a people behind that language. And so we want to introduce them to those people and get to know who they are.
Our next organization is the Viscardi Center and School, which is located right here in New York on Long Island. Since 1962, they have educated and empowered young people with physical disabilities from pre-K through the age of 21. They also provide vocational training and career counseling to assist with the transition from school to independence. Lauren Wanko is with the Viscardi School's 2017 salutatorian. Lauren.
We are very lucky to be joined by Alexa Williams, Viscardi graduate. Alexa, tell us, why did you decide to join the Henry Viscardi School?
Well, I started the Henry Viscardi School when I was in kindergarten, but before that I was in public school for about 2 months, and that school didn't really have the necessary services that I needed in order to succeed academically at the Henry Viscardi School. So therefore my mom found out about the Henry Viscardi School, and she enrolled me into that school in order for me to succeed academically.
You mentioned you were there since kindergarten. That's a long time. What did you gain from your experiences as a student there?
I gained a lot of strength, confidence, and being able to self-advocate for myself, in order to succeed in college.
I understand that you were an ambassador for the school, speaking at other schools and businesses. What would you say during these appearances?
Well, to me, the Viscardi Ambassadors was basically like community service, because we talked about ourselves to kids that are not disabled, so we let them know what the disabled community was like, and letting the children know that we're just like them. Even though we may look different, we still do the same thing, just a little bit differently, and that we're all unique in our own way.
You were captain of the basketball team. Very cool. All of the players played in wheelchairs. Why?
The reason why they played in wheelchairs is because the Henry Viscardi School is children that are physically disabled. So therefore, you could see right now that I'm not in a wheelchair. So therefore, for me playing against a child that's in a wheelchair is not necessarily fair. So therefore, they put me in a wheelchair so it could be fair on the basketball court.
You recently graduated. What's next for you?
Right now, I am a current student at St. John's University studying legal studies.
You want to be a lawyer?
Yes, I do.
What made you decide to become a lawyer?
Well, I've watched a bunch of law shows, and they inspired me as well. And seeing things that are going around the world and people being treated not the way that they should, I was like, I can't just sit back and not do something about it. I have to be able to change it. So therefore, I wanted to be a lawyer.
You know, we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about mentors. Did you have one?
Yes, my mentor was Coach Joe. He's the coach of the wheelchair basketball team at the Henry Viscardi School.
And what did you learn from him?
Strength, determination, hard work, and playing hard to be a better basketball player.
And how does that translate to everything you want to do now?
It motivates me to work hard, go hard for my dreams, succeed in life, and being successful.
And since you are reaching for your dreams, quickly, what is your message for those watching who want to do the same thing?
To work hard, be nice to each other, be kind, and spread peace and love.
That sounds like an incredible message and a truly inspiring story. And while we have a few moments, we want to remind all of you at home to tell us who is a mentor for you, who has been your mentor, what do they mean to you? Hashtag AmGrad, let us know. We want to hear from you. Now we're going to hear from the band, As You Were.
I was running from my brother and his friends. A tasty sweet perfume.
As you've seen throughout our broadcast, creating career options is essential for today's youth. Special needs students are no exception. Preparing these young people for a life of independence can require special training in a variety of areas. The goal is to identify opportunities and teach the skills necessary for jobs that can provide both social and economic needs for years to come. For nearly 50 years, ECLC of New Jersey, or Education, Careers, and Lifelong Community for Children and Adults, has been doing just that. They prepare these young people for the journey from school to a meaningful job in a program they call Transition.
My name is Maria Gonzalez, and I've been to ECLC for 7 years. I'm a little nervous and a little bit scared to be myself growing up, but mostly I'm very, very excited because I have confidence, and ECLC helps me to be more responsible, caring, hardworking, and I am so ready to work out in community and show them what I got.
Transition is probably one of the most important pieces of our program and the most critical piece of our program, because you can educate someone and bring them to a certain point, but unless they have the skills to navigate the world after the age of 21, you haven't done your job.
Everyone over 10 years old participates in the skill program. Our intent is to impart any kind of skills that will help our students in their future after school, whether it be work or in a program or even around the home or community. Because no matter where they go, they're going to have to follow directions, get along with others, be part of a team. And those are the kind of skills we try to have the students learn while here.
When I work with the kids, I hope to be able to get them to move on to the next phase of their life and hold a job if possible, or just be able to live on their own and be a productive human being.
I have to say the relationship between ECLC and Goodwill is something that I'm grateful for. The teachers are amazing. How they explain to them what they need to do and the steps they take to do it.
Our goal is to find the best possible fit for every student. Some of them will be working with CPS after graduation in supported employment jobs. Some will go to Pride, and some will go to other day programs of their choice, depending on which is the best fit for them.
My name is Michael Dawson. I've been working here at ShopRite for 8 years. I love my job. I bag the groceries. I try not to squish the bread. I separate the eggs instead, because people don't want to go home with scrambled eggs.
Mike's won Associate of the Month, I think, twice. And it was for outstanding work with customers and going above and beyond, helping them out to their car. There's a couple times customers left items behind, like their wallets, and he's handed it in.
It's a win-win situation. We have, a student who's there really wanting to work with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of energy, and certainly the employers benefit from that.
Pride was started in 2008 because there was a lack of programming for adults that had developmental disabilities. We encourage our clients to make decisions. We help them become confident with those decisions, guide them, and facilitate them towards independence and what they want to do with the rest of their lives. When our clients have that independence, experience that independence, and show that independence, it is a very wonderful, priceless experience for the families, for the clients, and the world around us.
In Waterville, Maine, a third-generation auto dealer envisioned a collaboration with the local high school tech center.
And I'm so happy to be talking about something that's become very important to us, and that's mentoring. A couple of years ago we decided we needed to build the workforce we needed, and so we invested a whole bunch of time and energy in mentoring, where we paired the students up with the right job so that we could help them learn what it meant to be employed, what it meant to be a good employee, and what it meant to be part of the workforce, so that they could learn what it means to be gainfully employed.
Working here has helped me build my skills on being a team member, just because you got 11 other guys in the shop and we all work together as a team. Say if I need help, I go to him, and he needs help, he comes to me. We all borrow each other's tools if need be.
I just love it. I film cars we put on YouTube. We do special events and I film those and post those on YouTube. And it's just helped me create my future, and I just appreciate it.
I started working on the wash crew as a junior, and by my senior year, I started my internship at Toyota shadowing techs.
Student interns are exposed to the volatility of industry and the demands of their supervisors, of their coworkers, and the customers. So from that, they gain employability skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and professionalism that are as important, if not more so, than the technical skills they develop with us. They come back to us and they're leaders.
Hello, this is Elmo, and you're watching American Graduate Day. That's what Elmo told me.
Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, from the International Space Station, astronaut Mark Vande Hei, the first Native American astronaut, John Harrington, two-time Cy Young Award winner, Max Scherzer, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Darryl McDaniels.
The launch command issued and liftoff. Mark Vande Hei, Alexander Mazurkin, and Joe Acaba lifting off and now on their way to the International Space Station.
I'm NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei on the International Space Station, orbiting 250 miles above our planet. And it's great to be a part of American Graduate Day. I've been fortunate to have had great mentors in my life during both my Army and academic careers. In fact, while at Stanford University studying for a master's in applied physics, one of the people who helped me along the way was Dr. Hakeem Oluseyi. Hello, Hakeem.
Houston Station on Space to Ground 3.
NASA is a wondrous blend of science, engineering, technology, with mentors at every step of the way. So become a mentor, just like Hakeem was for me. Oh, I missed it. Whoa, help me.
Hi, this is Hakeem Oluseyi, and among other things, I'm a rocket scientist, and I still get chills watching launches or spacewalks. In this half hour, we're going to talk about STEM-related topics and organizations like NASA that depend on the disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and math. Coincidentally, 70 years ago today, the space age began when test pilot Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier for the first time. He truly had what Thomas Wolfe called the right stuff. However, he might never have made it without guidance from the right people. Now, we call them mentors. When Yeager joined the Army, he was a private with no special skills. And when he retired, he was a brigadier general and perhaps our finest pilot. Our next guest was also a decorated military test pilot, who then became NASA's first Native American astronaut. However, like Yeager, he didn't start out as one of the best and the brightest. Please welcome Dr. John Harrington, former NASA astronaut and member of the Chickasaw Nation.
Hi, Hakeem. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I didn't write that. I think you were wonderful from the beginning. All right.
That's wonderful.
So, John, like Chuck Yeager, your journey started into history was not typical. You're Native American, you changed schools often, dropped out of college, and then took a job climbing rocks for a surveying company. How did the owner of that company change your life?
It took maybe 15 minutes of his time. I sat down, I was doing some work for a large sheet we're going to pull across the Colorado River. And he sat me down and said, you know, what are you going to do when you grow up? You know, I was 19, I thought I was grown up.
Right.
And he said, what do you do when you're 25? When you're 30, you can't raise a family on $4 an hour. So you need to go back to school and become the engineer and be the one responsible for all of this. Yeah.
Wow, so a mentor changed your life in 15 minutes.
A short period of time.
Yeah, so your journey continued at the University of Colorado, where your path changed once again. And how did Captain Richard Knockel influence your career?
Captain Knockel. I worked for the math department, and the professor I worked for, Jim O'Dear, Dr. Jim O'Dear, said, hey, I have the student that needs a calculus tutor. And I thought, you know, 20-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
He said, no, this is a guy's retired Navy captain. He flew Dauntless dive bombers in World War II, and he needs a calculus tutor. And he was getting a computer science degree, and he'd retired from the Navy, and so he tutored me about Navy, and we talked about calculus. And so he was the one that convinced me if I want to join the Navy, I've got to go officer candidate school in that direction. It was just intriguing for me, so yeah.
Yeah, so he convinced you to go to, to the Navy. Yep. All right. So after a decade as a decorated Navy pilot, NASA selected you for a shuttle mission, and you ended up walking in space. Yep. So when you talk to students about reaching this particular scientific high point, what do you tell them?
You know, it's that you can have a dream as a kid. When I was 8 years old, I used to dream about being an astronaut. I used to sit in a cardboard box and dream I was going to the moon, but I never thought it was something I could do until much later when I was a test pilot in the Navy. I'm in a school where the names of the graduates are on these plaques, and I started seeing names of the people I watched on TV in the 60s. You know, Jim Lovell, Apollo 13, Alan Shepard, the first American in space, Gene Cernan, the last American on the moon, last man on the moon. Wow. These guys had all been Navy test pilots, and I was in the exact same school doing the exact same thing.
So that was a clear path then. So you're also a member of the Chickasaw Nation. Yes, sir. Turns out my family heritage includes the Choctaw Nation.
Choctaw.
That's right. So what did it mean to you to be the first Native American to fly into space?
It's an honor. You know, it's an opportunity for me to be in a position where kids can look and say, hey, I didn't realize that's something I could do.
Right. And
so this idea of I can work with students and say, hey, you know, if you have a dream as a kid, be it astronaut or engineer or doctor, you can do it. And if they see somebody they can identify with and appreciate that in a mentor role, then it can fundamentally change their life.
Yeah, as they say, if you can see it, then you can be it, right? So they see you, and now they know they can do it as well. Yeah. Wonderful. So you spent your career climbing higher. You're now retired from NASA. You've achieved a doctorate of education, and now you're deeply involved with ASIS, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. Yes, sir. So now you have a new mission. Tell us about that.
Well, in the second half of my life, matter of fact, after I retired from NASA in 2008, I hopped on a bicycle, and I pedaled across the country, rode from Cape Flattery, Washington to Cape Canaveral, Florida. And along the way, I stopped and talked to students. And I talked to NASA Explorer Schools, and on the reservations, I talked to Native kids and talked about my journey to the Corps and how I achieved something that I didn't really think I could do. And so it was that idea that, you know, if I can do it, you can do it type of thing. And in the process, I met somebody in Idaho that said, come back, you can get a PhD. I went back and I earned a PhD in education. I worked with Native kids and looked at the factors that motivate and engage them to study math and science. I mean, what is that factor that motivates somebody to want to do this?
Right, right. So why do you think it's so important to expose kids to this?
It's the idea that if they can believe they can do it, you know, then they go. But it's the idea of hands-on learning. It's the idea of working with your hands and tying the theoretical to the practical. And that's how I learned. Climbing rocks, you know, hanging off of a cliff. I saw math in practice for the first time.
Exactly. A lot of people say, what am I going to ever use this for? Well, the answer is
you
a
will
lot.
use it,
So when you're with Native American students who are considering STEM careers, what are the words of encouragement you offer?
Well, I'll say Chukmaa would be hello, you know, in Chickasaw, and Chikasha Abanoa would be my Chickasaw name.
Wow.
Yeah, above Walker, Chickasaw above Walker.
Nice.
Yeah, because there's no word for astronaut. And so
Nice.
But the idea is that they talked to me. I had a young lady stop me in an elevator one day and said, "You're John Harrington, and I met you when I was 12 years old."
Wow.
And I didn't realize I could be an engineer. And now she's a civil engineer at the city of San Francisco.
That is amazing.
And it's like that it touches your heart. It really does.
It really does. Yeah. Well, John, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you. We have a lot in common. It's unbelievable. You know, we've done you know, to hear someone else's the same story, and you are making a huge impact. And I've really been honored. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you once we're off camera and continue this some more. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Good stuff.
Cool.
An interest in science and technology is best instilled in kids when they're young. Our next organization works with students to create technology solutions for a variety of problems that benefit good causes. Meet Mouse.
Growing up, I knew that creative people do art, and I had to experience for myself that they're also here to solve challenging issues in the world. They're needed to help guide young people through the pathways that lead them to their dreams. My name is Mark Lesser. I'm the Senior Director for Learning Design at Mouse. Mouse supports young people to think about technology as a tool with purpose, a thing that empowers them to change the world around them. My role at Mouse is making sure that we can serve up ways of engaging them to realize their potential.
My name is Dr. Subrina Oliver, the Director of STEM Education for Hempstead School District K-12. We're creating opportunities for our students to prepare them for jobs that we can't even foresee.
My name is Kayla Mack. I'm a Mouse alumni. I feel that not only learning about technology, but finding a way to help serve other people with technology helps you learn more about yourself.
I envision in 10 years for our students possibilities that they couldn't dream or imagine for themselves.
My name is Mikkel. I'm currently attending Parsons at the New School, and I'm a Mouse Design League alum. My mentors from Mouse were the people that, first of all, even put the idea in my head that, hey, the best art and design school in America, you can go there if you really wanted to in life. Before them, there was no way I could have thought that to be possible. Looking back, if I had enjoyed Mouse, I don't know what I would be doing. I definitely don't think I would have the skills that I do now, or the connections.
I think there's a point in teaching literacy of any kind when that magic happens. The instinct for humans is to go change their environment with it. And that's why Mouse is here, and that's why we've been here for 20 years.
It's important to use your talent to inspire others. Mouse has helped me most to gain my voice so that I can help and inspire other people, like the people in Mouse have inspired me.
I love to work with the students of Boston Public Schools. The Vertex Learning Lab is a dedicated classroom and lab space. We really want students to see how science is done in the real world.
It's an amazing opportunity to work with Melody.
Students have a chance to actually do cell culture, which most high schools are.
Even more wonderful is the opportunity for our students to see a woman of color in this position.
Just to be able to say to them, look at me, I'm doing it, you can do this too, I think is just so important.
Definitely a great mentor.
We're seeing more and more students who go on to higher education and choose to stay in this field.
Now I'm thinking about science to make a career for myself.
I think it's about developing well-rounded students who can take on any challenge.
Building a love of science and math in students is essential for America to keep up with the ever-growing demands in these fields. One area facing major labor shortages is construction. 64% of builders have delayed projects due to lack of available skilled workers. Our next group addresses this issue head-on. It's the ACE Mentor Program of America. The ACE stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. Each year, they introduce 9,000 high school students to all facets of the construction industry by providing them with mentors and on-the-job training. Joining us today from San Antonio are ACE mentee Sarah E. Martinez and mentors Mary Stewart and Mike Kamen. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to start with you, Sarah E. So how did you end up with ACE Mentor?
So in ACE, I joined the program as a sophomore. My teacher, Mr. Garcia, actually encouraged everybody to join the program just so they can get a better field of all the fields. So he just encouraged me, and once I joined, I saw that I really liked it and enjoyed myself in it. So I stayed for 3 years after that.
Nice. Yes. We're going to get back to you, but we're going to turn to Mary. Yes, you're a civil engineer.
Yes.
And as a female mentor in the construction industry, why did you take a special interest in Sarah E?
Well, as the program has grown, we're starting to see more and more females in the industry. But when I first started, there were only 2 to 3 females within a 25 student group. So we pretty much made a great connection within the first couple sessions.
Oh, nice, nice. And so how do you feel you've benefited by having Mary as your mentor?
Well, just seeing Mary, like she said, it was a big group, and seeing women in the program just encouraged me, to be knowing that I can do what she does, and it just allowed me to believe in myself and encourage me to, further my education and get into construction, get into a field that, it's male-dominated, but
seeing her just let me believe that I could do it as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you can as well. And there's a lot of opportunity. So why just leave it to the dudes, right? So Mike, you're a vice president at Turner Construction. Why do you devote your time to this organization?
Well, to have one of 9,000 mentees like Sarai is very special. We've taken a special one-on-one connection.
Yes.
And that's what I saw in her to begin with. And when you see how much she grew year after year after year, I keep telling her she's going to be the CEO of the company one day.
Wow.
But it's very special to see her grow every year.
But what did you first see in her that allowed you to, invite her to your company and take such a close interest?
So we had several employees mentoring as well at Jefferson High School, and they came to me day one and said, there's one special lady that we need to follow, and we followed her as a sophomore, junior, senior, after high school, and very proud that within the next year she'll be graduating from University of Texas San Antonio with a construction science degree as well.
That is awesome. So what are your plans after?
So since the company has taken me under the wing, I've been able to go to school while working full time. Oh, nice. So I want to continue working, and the company is able to give me. They're really open to going and with your career. So I'm planning on staying with the company and just going and moving forward. To going out to the field and seeing construction. All the projects going.
So do you get to do hands-on things as a civil engineer probably, right? You do a lot of modeling, or is it, with computer design and things, or is it more hands-on? Because you work directly with Mary, right?
Construction, right now I'm actually in the office, but so general contracting, you manage the project. So you're the middle person between the architect and the subcontractors. So we handle the project.
I see. And do you go to the project sites, put on the hard hat, and
and manage everything from there,
That is wonderful. So you're also very young. So not only being a woman, but also being very young. Do you find that to be a challenge at all, or do people just accept you in your professional role?
I do get a lot. You are young and things like that. But as with the company, I've just been able to oversee a lot of the construction and have learned so much throughout the years. So now that I've been 5 years in with the company, I feel like I have a really good grasp onto the field. But no, I don't get a lot of challenges. But I do learn as I grow.
Yeah. So Mary and you, like being a mentor, like what's in it for you?
I think it's a matter of making a difference. Just seeing the students year in, year out, going beyond their high school education. In San Antonio, we have a lot of first generation coming out of high school and continuing to college. And if we can just encourage them to continue their education and follow their path, especially in the AEC industry, it just makes my day.
Wonderful. Yeah, I understand. So Mike, we heard that after the university, Sarai is going to continue with you. How do you feel about that?
I'm most excited that she's already started the full circle of mentoring back at Jefferson High School. So wonderful. To watch her go as a high school student, all the way as an intern, go through college, and then already be back at that high school mentoring, I think that is the goal, to have that full circle accomplishment.
I hear there's a story about a Christmas party. Tell me about that.
Well, I invited Sarai and her mother to our Christmas party because her mother was talking about that maybe not going to college would be something that she would want for her daughter to do. And Sarai brought her mother to the Christmas party, and we were able to have a dialogue. Sarai interpreted for me. And at that time I said, she is the most talented young lady that I've been around in a long time. I want to make sure she goes to college, and she will be able to support you and the family by getting a degree and having a full-time job, much more so than having her not go to college. And that was the very first time her mother said, okay, it's okay to begin an internship and to start.
Wow, so Sarai, it sounds like they had a big impact on your life, and I'm so happy to have met you all and to share your story. Hopefully, I'll get to talk to you more later off camera. Everybody's excited about you, so you sound like a wonderful young lady.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing this story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you work in the construction field, why not involve your company in ACE Mentor? For more information on ACE or any of the other groups we're featuring today, visit us at americangraduate.org. Now, let's join sister station WTVI in Charlotte to celebrate another story of champions.
First, let's talk about picking up the ball and placing it into the receptacle.
Bryant Soul volunteers with a mentoring organization called 100 Black Men of Greater Charlotte.
One of the things that really got me into the 100 is the ability to motivate and inspire children. One of the things that we notice is in the 9th grade, you have a lot of kids dropping out of school. So anything that you can give them to encourage them to stay in school and give them a goal to shoot for is great.
If you set it there on top.
I just kind of saw a need, and I knew that I had some skills that I believed that could benefit them.
It's brought me a long way.
Jaleel Brown joined the program in the 4th grade.
Being able to network, learn different things, get deeper into the STEM field.
Today, he's in college, majoring in computer science.
They've taught me a lot.
Many of our students and their parents have stated that since they participated in our STEAM programs, that they're more engaged in their science and mathematics courses in school. They can make the relationship between what they're studying in the class and what's actually happening in the real world. I think that once you give your time and you can see the fruits of your time that you're giving, I think it really is really inspiring to yourself and others.
Many companies today are in need of skilled tech workers, and that's the specialty of our next group, Perscolis. They partner with companies like Barclays and Cognizant to train opportunity youth for careers in IT by providing both mentors and training. Lauren Wanko is with a young man who joined Perscolis, and they helped change the course of his career. Lauren?
Yes, I am with Troy Pinkney of the Perscolis program. Troy, before we talk about the program, tell me a little bit more about your history before joining.
Well, I had an associate's degree in Alfred State College, and I did the business route, but I wasn't seeing like the progress of me getting a business degree. So I came back home, did a couple of jobs with Walmart, JFK, Macy's, and my brother, we was both unemployed at the same time. He actually lost his job before mine. And he inspired me to, grab onto Perscolis. I watched how I gave him an opportunity, watched how I opened doors for him. And he actually had no prior IT experience at all, so that was an amazing feeling. And watching him do that inspired me to do the same exact thing.
Did you know that you wanted to go into IT before Perscolis?
It's kind of funny because my school I went to was an IT school, but I went the business route, so now me here in IT is kind of ironic, but it's an amazing feeling.
We understand that you were working as a baggage handler while you were going to Perscolis. How did you manage that?
It was real stressful, but it taught me discipline here in the work world. Perscolis has something called the no late tolerance policy, and I saw myself running from the train with a 20-pound book bag, and I was sweating and everything just to make it on time. But that taught me, discipline on my punctuality and everything. So that was also a good experience as well.
And it kept you in shape too.
It kept me in shape.
What did you like best about the program?
My teacher for sure, he gave me the tools and the tech skills to be someone who can explain complex situations to an end user, someone who's able to break down ideas and troubleshoot computers. So that was an amazing feeling going from someone who didn't have any prior IT experience, but now someone who's able to explain this.
You have some exciting news to share with us today. You had a very busy week last week. Tell us about that.
Well, I just started my new job at Rico USA, and I'm an associate field technician. And then my job is to go around and fix printers and copiers and these, with many clients. So that's a good feeling. My first work week, it was kind of tiring, but I'm happy. I'm happy.
And you doubled your salary, we hear.
Yes, ma'am, I doubled my salary.
Well, we want to celebrate with you today. So because of that, we want to present you with a gift. Wow. Slide that over. This is for you. You might be traveling a lot for your job, and in the event that you do, we wanted to present you with your own piece of luggage. You have to handle this one with extra care now because it's your very own piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing such a successful, inspirational story. I know lots of folks at home have enjoyed hearing it, so thanks so much. Thank you. And now it's an opportunity in just a little bit to hear more from the band. as you were.
Like a river, like a river, like a river, like a river, like a river. Shut your mouth and run me like a river. How do we fall in love? Faster than a bullet could hit you. How do we fall apart?
Hello again, everyone. Industries dependent on STEM-focused talent have a critical need for a diversified pool of workers to draw upon in order for their innovative ideas to really take off. Our next story is about a group of Native American undergraduates who have been inspired to compete in a NASA-supported high-powered rocketry program.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
It's another cool April morning in Kansasville, Wisconsin. And these collegiate rocketry teams are whirling through last-minute preparations, fueled by months of collaboration, research, design, and a collective growing pride.
I'm so nervous.
This competition began in 2010 as an annual gathering of undergraduates from different tribal colleges. They go head-to-head with the design and fabrication of their own high-powered rockets as part of the STEM program called First Nations Launch. This unique program engages an often untapped community for scientific studies, tribal colleges and Native American students. The Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium and NASA support the program because they see the great potential.
The reason why First Nations Launch Program is so important to NASA is because the Native American community is the most underrepresented community in the science and engineering fields. We want to change that.
Guided by an array of expert mentors, the student teams move the project from inspired designs to launch pad building the rockets, literally from the ground up.
And so in the process, they're learning physics, they're learning calculus, they're learning how to use specific software, they're learning payload design, they're understanding how each component affects the other component.
Born at the College of Menominee Nation, participation quickly spread across tribal colleges and universities. These teams include members of the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, or ACES. Their collaborative, hands-on exposure to high-tech skills opens minds to new career opportunities.
They're here to do much, much more than just win. They're here to interact, they're here to work as a team, they're here to work as a community. That's how we operate to fly space missions. And the Native Americans get that.
We've had students end up at Boeing, at NASA Ames, at NASA Goddard, and they hit the ground running and really achieve great things for these organizations, in part based on the kinds of skills and work.
This year's winners came from the Northwest Indian College, and they received a behind-the-scenes tour of the NASA Kennedy Space Center.
It has been so key in having students think beyond whatever they thought was possible. And that kind of stuff wouldn't happen without First Nations Launch.
I think the possibilities are endless for what I can do after graduation, and it's a little daunting, but it's exciting at the same time.
And you guys are set to go. Okay.
As one team's achievements make way for the next wave of STEM innovators,
Where to go? Where to go?
the mentoring benefits of the First Nations Launch will reverberate across these students' careers to help lift their tribal communities.
For many of them, it's the first time that they begin to see themselves as maybe it's the next NASA engineer. Maybe it's the next engineer that comes back to the reservation, inspiring the next generation to continue to go on to school and do something great. And so this not only affects individuals, this affects families and this affects communities. And that's one of the greatest parts of this program.
And a ball hit deep to left. Taylor going back, and Max Scherzer has a no-hitter.
Hi, this is Max Scherzer with the Washington Nationals. I'm happy to pitch in and help out on American Graduate Day.
third of the day.
I grew up in Missouri, and I thought my education that I got at the Parkway School District was outstanding. I really felt like that helped make me a well-rounded person. All the teachers there in every subject, I can't say enough about. Math was my favorite subject, so all my math teachers, I gotta give you a special shout out for that. So.
Swing and a miss! 20 strikeouts for Max Scherzer.
As I've continued to get older, I keep appreciating how important education is, and what the Nationals did with the Youth Baseball Academy, that speaks volumes to exactly what I believe in, and that's combining sports with education. If you can put the same effort into sports and practice and play from the championship game, you can do the same thing in the classroom. You can put the effort into homework, practicing, and trying to make yourself smarter so that when tests come, you go out there and perform. And for the Nationals to have that type of approach in an academy, I'm all about that. The best is when you go there and you see all the kids and the big smiles on their face, because you know, you can see them actually want to really learn about baseball, but they're just excited to learn stuff in the classrooms too, when you get to teach them different lessons.
And Max Scherzer has thrown his second no-hitter of the season, striking out 17. Max Scherzer puts his name in the record books.
Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor.
What else can you give us, Max Scherzer?
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Hi, everybody. I'm Juju Chang, one of the co-anchors of ABC News Nightline here in New York City. It's such a thrill every year to be a part of American Graduate Day. It's such a great opportunity to talk about how we can all have an impact on a high school student's life. I know my parents, who immigrated to this country from Korea when I was just 4, instilled in me the burning desire to study hard above all else. It was so clear to them that doing well in school was the best way to make their version of the American dream come true. And of course, I'm now instilling that same love of learning in my own 3 sons. Of course, way, way, way back when I was an insecure kid in high school, growing up in Northern California, I would never have imagined that someday I'd be a network news anchor. But I had a few boosts in my confidence as a kid that put me on this path, thanks to some key adults in my life. First and foremost, my parents, but secondly, my swim coach, who taught me a simple but profound lesson. He showed me time and time again that hard work can pay off with success. And I had a third group of mentors in a program called Junior Achievement. I worked with 3 business professionals from a huge company called Xerox. I remember they were the first adults in business suits that I'd ever really had a conversation with. They took the time each week to come teach us how to be entrepreneurs, how to be strategic about a business plan, how to get a supply chain, marketing, sales, and eventually profit. Our little teeny tiny student company, I'll never forget it was called Zoxox, not to be confused with Xerox, sold little plexiglass desktop organizers that we cut and we glued, and then we went and sold them door to door. We learned a lot about selling, not just a product, but our vision, and we won competitions, and I just remember feeling so proud. Now, all 3 sets of mentors helped shape who I am today, so for all of those parents and mentors out there, I salute you. And for those of you who want to make a difference, you too can become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor.
Thanks, Juju. What a terrific story. It's great to be back on American Graduate Day. Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Garib, and I'm thrilled to be hosting our half hour on dropout prevention and re-engagement. Our next organization, Junior Achievement, has been engaging high school students like Juju for nearly a century. Every year, they reach an incredible 4.8 million young people, and their goal is to teach financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. And we have an inspiring JA story to share with you. Joining us in the studio from Hazlet, Texas, our JA mentor, Brad Chapman, and high school junior and JA mentee, Jakayla Dixon. And thank you both for joining us. Really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Brad, let me start with you. A lot of people might not know what Junior Achievement is all about. Give us a quick description of what you do.
Sure. Just to add to what you said, the purpose of Junior Achievement is to inspire and prepare young people for future success. And so from kindergarten all the way until senior year, financial literacy and entrepreneurship, things like that are what we focus on.
And you're our entrepreneur, Jakayla. You've been with Junior Achievement for 3 years. You've won a couple of awards, the Innovation Award and the Social Impact Award. This was a national competition. Let's take a quick look at what your product was.
So here's our product.
Hold on one second.
So my company's called Feel the Color, and it's an embroidered tag with Braille, alphabet lettering, and symbols so that the visually impaired can feel the color of their clothes. They'll be able to go to the store and shop for themselves for the first time without having to ask somebody, what color is this? They can be self-reliant, and they have complete independence and control of what they're wearing.
Jaquela, let's get a close-up look at exactly what your product is.
So we have in Braille right here. We have enlarged alphabet lettering for blue, and then we have symbols for those who are visually impaired.
How did you come up with this idea? First of all, I love the name of the company, Feel the Color.
Thank you. So the idea was inspired by my blind aunt Cynthia, who lost her eyesight as an adult due to wanting to get LASIK eye surgery. So seeing her struggle really inspired Feel the Color.
So, I mean, it's a great concept. Brad, what did you think when Jaquela told you about her idea?
Well, immediately it was an easy decision for me to pick up what some I think would call an assignment. For me, it was an absolute blessing. The idea is fantastic.
And then once she told you the idea, how did you take it to the next steps?
I began by asking a lot of questions. I think that was important for both of us, quite frankly, along the way, but to understand what she wanted to accomplish, whether or not this was something that was simply socially enterprising or something that was set to be more of a kind of commercial institution. And so we did that, created some framework, and she's the kind of person that when you say do some research on something, she brings back 2 books, a white paper, and a lot of literature. So it's been incredibly easy to work alongside her.
So what's your dream here? What do you want to do with Brad's help?
I want to see a world with those with visual impairments can go shopping. So we want designers to buy our tags so they can be placed inside clothing and give those with visual impairments the opportunity to go shopping and experience a new lifestyle.
So right now this is a junior achievement project, but you want to take it commercial. You want other people to know about it. How are you going to do that?
Yes, ma'am. We hopefully hope to obtain a B Corp, and then we eventually, before the new year, want to launch the product so that those with visual impairments can buy it online and be able to feel the color of their clothes.
So she's got a great idea. How do you financially get this off the ground?
So the idea that we've discussed quite a bit is actually, you know, what is the cost? So it's a great idea, right? But what are the costs associated with the deployment of this idea? And so that assignment recently completed, I would say, is understanding the cost of the tags, the logistics associated with, then again, the launch of those tags into either retailers or online, or how that looks. And then I think once you understand that cost, you begin to better understand how you deploy it into the marketplace. And that's where we are today, along with discussing legal structure and then where the money comes from.
Where the money comes from, and you need some help. You can't do this all by yourself.
Yes,
you're going to be hiring people.
I hope so. If they want to work for me.
So as you look back on this experience, what have you gotten out of knowing Brad and working with JA?
I got to see what it's like to have a real-life entrepreneur help me. So without having a mentor, I would never get to see what it takes to run a business and what are the logistics and everything that is needed.
Well, this is great, and you're just a high school student. I know you're really going to take this in a place that's going to change a lot of lives, and we're really looking forward to it. So good luck.
Thank you.
To both of you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. While entrepreneurs can create opportunities, there are some youth who feel past mistakes have closed the doors to any second chances for them, leaving their careers at a standstill. Sometimes these lives just need a little momentum. In Dallas, Chef Chad Hauser is changing an old problem with an innovative solution: Cafe Momentum.
I don't know how long, but I knew that I was going to end up in prison. I knew I was going to end up there. My mom got 5 kids, but it was kind of hard for her to like take care of all of us with the money. So me and my brother, what we did, we went out and hit licks and started robbing and stuff. And then we started going to juvenile. My mama had, she had went back to Missouri because she had got evicted. I couldn't go back to Missouri because like I'm dealing with cases and stuff. I can't leave the state of Texas right now. So it done been nights where I done slept at a train station in the rain, I done slept in the snow. It's a cold feeling. You feel like I ain't got nobody, like don't nobody care. I had to get out the neighborhood. That was the first step. When I got on the bus and left the neighborhood, come to Cafe Momentum.
Cafe Momentum is a 12-month paid post-release internship for kids coming out of juvenile detention. In addition to working through 5 stations in the restaurant, we also have a huge emphasis on life skill and social skill training. For us, our #1 priority was to create at least a baseline of stabilization for Imai. That meant finding housing for him. Once we were able to secure housing, it meant continuing to build from there.
My first couple of weeks, it's like I was doing stuff, I was leaving, like he brought me in that outfit so many times just to sit me down and talk with me and tell me like, 'cause at first I didn't believe in myself, but he used to always tell me that he believed in me. I see you got somebody good in you and he going very good places, but you need to get on your stuff. And that's like, man, ain't nobody tell me they believe in me but this man.
The transformation for him really started in the dining room, because on any given night, there's 140 people coming in this restaurant, people that he's never met in his entire life, but people that are telling him, just by sitting here and eating, I believe in you, you can do it, and you're worthy. One of his last shifts in the restaurant, Imai came up to me and said, I just wanted to say thank you. You've really changed my life. And I said, well, I like to think that you're the one that really changed your own life, because all I did was open up a restaurant. You're the one that has to show up every day. You're the one that made the choices to be here. You're the one that made the choices to learn. You're the one that did all this. And he said, yeah, but I don't think you understand. I've lived my entire life planning on going to prison. Every day I knew that at some point I would be in prison. So I made every decision in my life based around going to prison. And then he looked at me and I saw a smile that I've never seen on Imai in my entire life, and he said, I'm never going to jail. Never. And for him, what that meant was that he believed in himself. To say I'm never going to jail means to say his children will not grow up the way that he grew up. And that, to me, is true transformation.
I don't really believe in bad kids. I think that all of our behaviors are created by needs. We have a need, and so the behaviors are trying to get those needs met. Make the connection. We could work through those things and teach them better tactics to get their needs met. My specialty with the Children's Law Center is with the care unit, which is working with youth who are in foster care but who also have probation cases, and I mentor them to help them through their terms of probation. My inspiration for the work that I do is really my family background, and that I have a lot of family who's been incarcerated and have dealt with the system, and I'm from a community where foster care is pretty dominant in the community. I'm also an artist. I do aerosol art, I'm a poet, I'm a rapper. Honestly, I use any art that I can to connect with the youth, because when you can find common ground with them, then they can find safety in the relationship, in the rapport that you have with them. And once you establish safety, then you can move forward to trying to offer advice or leading them in a different direction.
Leading students in the right direction is also the work of our next group, I Could Be. It's an e-mentoring program which begins in the junior year of high school. More than 19,000 students across the country are anonymously matched with professionals from coast to coast who volunteer as e-mentors. They provide online career advice, guidance, and support. Joining us from Westminster High School outside of Los Angeles is our e-mentee, Marisol Sosa Ortiz. Marisol, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, just to get started, tell us a little bit about I Could Be. How does this organization work?
I Could Be is when a mentor mentees a student, like they help you with school, how to get ready for college, life in general.
And what made you decide to join up?
Actually, my teacher, Ms. Braun, told me to join this program. She's like, this is going to help you get ready for school and for college, and I actually ended up enjoying the program.
And what were you hoping to get out of the program?
Well, I was just planning to learn like about college, how to get ready for it, but I ended up getting much more of it.
And your mentor, it was like an anonymous connection.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't choose this person and this person didn't choose you, right?
Yes.
So what was that like, getting to know your mentor?
Well, at the beginning it was a little weird because you didn't know who he was in person, but once we got something in common, we started talking and we started to get our conversations, like we would talk and more. And so we ended up having a good experience.
And the mentorship just lasted, you said, from September till about, Christmas time till January, and then it was over. And how did you feel about that?
Well, at the beginning, I was like it's just a program, it's gonna be over. But I was kind of like, sad because it's someone that actually gives you advice about like school, college, life in general. So it's like someone always telling you like how to do good in everything.
So it sounds like you got a very nice connection and you were a perfect match with your mentor. Well, we thought it would be nice if you could meet your mentor. I don't know how you feel about that, but we'd like to introduce you to your mentor. So, Marisol, meet Neil, your mentor.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
So this is surprising. You weren't expecting this.
Good surprise, huh?
Yes.
And Neil, you didn't even know her name was Marisol. You knew her as her screen name, MSOLO3, right?
Right. So it's Ms. Ola 3, yes.
So how does it feel that you're now seeing her live in person?
It's fantastic because, like she said, we had so many conversations through a virtual connection, and then to actually be able to see the person and that you were working with is amazing.
And I think it's like doubly rewarding, isn't it? That she felt very connected with you and engaged, and at the same time, so appreciative from everything you gave, and it just wasn't enough time.
Absolutely. I felt the same way. And it's funny because I hear you saying, that you learn different things, but at the same time, I feel like I was learning from you and getting inspiration from someone who wanted to do so good and help people out and do good things for other people. So
I see you two are still looking at each other, trying to put all of this together. I mean, Marisol, how did you feel that you created this really strong bond with Neil, and that you got so much from him? I mean, what was that whole experience like?
Well, I would sometimes I would think to myself, I'm like, how could I have such a great connection with someone I don't know? Like, this person helped me so much. Like, he would tell me do time arrangement, get more involved in school, go to college, how to get ready for other classes. So it was
Did you
really
listen to everything he said? And you're a senior now, so you're applying to colleges now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's great. Marisol, how did I Could Be and Neil help you figure out what you could be?
Well, actually, he has to do a lot with my career choice. I told him I'm into nursing. Like, he would always listen to my interests, and he would be like, "Have you heard of this career? Have you heard of this career?" He's like, "There's an RN traveling nurse," and I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "I didn't know there was such a thing." And then I started doing more information about it, and then I'm like, "This is something I actually want to study for." So he really helped me choose my career.
Tell us your story, Neil. I mean, was she your one and only mentee?
No, I've had several mentees, but she definitely stood out. And I think it was the conversation she had. She's so bright and smart, and I felt, that I was just able to connect because the conversations were so long. And it doesn't, the mentoring, it doesn't take much time, but you see the conversation, you read through it, but it ends up being a nice conversation. And yeah, it was.
So why are you still in the program, Neil? What do you get out of this?
I like the opportunity to feel like that hopefully you impact somebody and that you can give something back. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, when I was your age, I went through a similar program. And it was good to have different people talk to you and teach you things and lead the way. And I have the mentors I had, I still think back, you know, a long time ago, I still think back and the things they taught me and the decisions they helped me make that made a positive impact. So if I can give that to other people, I think it's just the best thing.
And I Could Be is sponsored by AT&T. How does that support make a difference?
Oh, AT&T encourages all of the employees to volunteer as much as we can. I Could Be is one of many of the organizations that we're involved with. So there's been a lot of corporate financial support, but then it's the culture of the company just coming behind us and cheerleading us to get out and help others that really, I think, makes the impact.
Well, this has been just a fabulous story. I'm sure you two are going to keep talking once you step off of this platform. But thank you so much, and good luck to you, Marisol, with college and everything else. Neil, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mentoring in any way can change a student's life. Why not sign up to be a mentor? From Tucson, our sister station, AZPM, shares with us our next Stories of Champions, a mentor who gives kids a fighting chance.
Hey, baby boy. What's up, cuz? How you doing? Good, man. What's new? Good, that's good.
Chris Valdez is a former Marine and was a professional boxer. He won many of his early fights by knockout. Now he helps at-risk youth on Tucson's south side, working to make a difference in their lives.
And you gotta get out of there because it's not over. Well, first I think every kid's at risk. Corazón grande. We get kids from all walks of life. A lot of them grew up like I did and, you know, have some tough situations, and so I'm there for those kids. Somebody's got a tip. We're not all perfect, but, you know, that's the beauty of the light shining through the cracks, man.
He cares about me. He knows it's bigger than himself. He knows that he has people looking up to him, all these kids that are in this gym right now. They look to coach for leadership. They look to him for positivity, and he comes in and he gives it every day.
I'm gonna be a champion. You're his brother's keeper.
He calls me, he asks me how my homework, how my school is going, make sure I'm getting my run-ins, to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Coach always asks.
There you go. I'm looking for the bigger challenges. You know, college, getting a job, you know, maybe if you got a family, how are you gonna react to hard situations in your life? I don't want them to have any limitations.
We've been celebrating American graduate champions just like Chris Valdez, and I'm happy to report that our tally so far is an amazing 2,653,484. Despite more than 7 million job vacancies, nearly 6 million young people are out of school and out of work, facing an opportunity divide. Year Up is addressing the gap by providing low-income young adults with a one-year intensive training program built on coursework and paid internships. Lauren is standing by with Year Up alum Armani Jeffries. Lauren?
And we are so happy Armani is here to share her story. Armani, due to financial reasons, you had to leave college after one semester. How did Year Up change that?
Year Up had a huge impact on my life. Right after leaving Alfred, I had a friend who was doing the Year Up program. He told me all about his experience. I came and visited him, and I got to not only hear about it, but see the impact that Year Up had on his life, and I immediately was like, I want to be a part of this. And so I applied, I got in, and from day one, Year Up has been a game changer for me.
Explain how throughout the 12-month program, you split your time between the classroom and corporate office.
Yes, so the first 6 months are a learning and development phase where it's split up by 3 modules. And in those modules, we'll learn the basic IT skills that we need to learn to work in a corporate setting. And then we'll go into learning about what it is that we applied for. So in my case, I applied for financial operations and anti-money laundering. And so we got into the basics of financial operations, you know, stocks and bonds. And then we got into learning about what money laundering was and then the steps to preventing that.
You now have a fantastic full-time job. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so in the second phase of Year Up, it's, of course, the corporate internship, and I interned at JP Morgan. And it was a complete success for me from the day that I started there, seeing that everybody in a corporate setting was so supportive and was so engaged and involved with this program and was engaged in my learning and my success there. So that actually contributed to my now 2 years still at JP.
And now you're finding a way to put your energy back into the program. Tell us how.
I am now the program manager for the Europe and JP Morgan partnership. So I manage the interns that come in each cohort. And so I get to work closely with them and get to tell them about my experience and then make sure that they don't make the mistakes that I made and make sure that they're successful in the end, just like I was.
Well, it truly is an extremely inspiring story and one we're so happy that you stopped by to tell us all about. Thank you. And we want to remind all of you at home to tell us what you think about our great day. Hashtag AmGrad, and now, as you were.
We drank too much. I held your hair back when you were throwing up. Then you looked over your shoulder, and then I stone cold sober. I pulled you close.
Next up, Camp Felix, a sleepaway summer camp in Putnam Valley, New York, created solely for kids in the foster care system. It's the brainchild of a pioneering rapper and an Emmy Award-winning casting director, both of whom had been foster kids themselves.
Camp Felix campers are from the New York City foster care system. Oftentimes, with all of that instability in their lives, Camp Felix can be the one sort of consistent element in their lives, and they know that no matter what's going on during the year, Camp Felix is here for them every summer.
I found out that I was adopted when I was 35 years old, which was a shocking revelation. I felt alone. I felt different. I realized, even though that fortunately I got adopted, that I was once one of those kids. And then I said, if everything that was given to me allowed me to become the person that I am today, what if we did that for all of the kids who are in so-called unfortunate situations? We decided 10 years ago to do a place called Camp Felix.
This is the greatest creation that I have ever been involved with. There was this thing waiting to be created that needed us to found it.
All right, back to the wall. You did good.
I think some of the major challenges that our children face is having a lot of adults in their life that they feel that they couldn't depend on. At Camp Felix, all of that is turned inside out. All of a sudden, you have counselors whose sole purpose is to provide them with the best experience possible.
It was the first place where I can actually feel myself opening up to people and letting people in, because I felt like I was just abruptly put into the foster care system. Let's go. It just sparked something in me, and I was like, this is my family, like this is my home.
Yes, it's destiny.
And no matter how many other different foster homes I might end up in, like this is always gonna be home, and I'm always gonna come to camp. And now as a counselor, like that's the experience I want them to have.
Best thing about camp was making new connections with people who are familiar to you. I mean, sure, I got some friends at home, but I wouldn't really call them friends. I mean, you don't really live with them, or eat with them, or shower with them.
Last one. Yeah. You can make it if you just keep going up.
This is to show you that it doesn't take strength, but willpower to climb up a wall.
Heard you.
I never left the city before, and it felt different. I was a little scared. I was not open. Like, I wouldn't speak to anybody. And then that's when I met Tiffany, and now I don't want to leave.
In their regular lives outside of camp, they might be moved to a home the next day and they don't even know. They might be uprooted again. And here they know that they're safe and they're stable, and at the end of the day, they're still gonna all go to bed together. They're still gonna wake up in the morning and eat breakfast. And I think that's just such a special thing that every kid deserves.
It's all about making sure that you believe in yourself.
We are the Kappa Phi Kappa Band of brothers, you see. We are the Kappa Phi Kappa Band of brothers, you see.
If you constantly have someone that keeps telling you, but I believe in you, I believe in you, eventually you're gonna turn around and say, you know what? I do believe in myself.
Our kids are at a disadvantage because they may attend 3 or 4 different schools throughout the school year. Their education is really fragmented, and the high school graduation rates are extremely low. We like to think that at Camp Felix, we kind of plant a seed that could be the spark that kind of changes the direction that some of these kids are going.
I tell the kids, man, I'm DMC in the place to be. I go to St. John's University. And since kindergarten, not kindergarten, since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. And after 12th grade, I went straight to college. So now I got the kids. He's like, oh, so DMC, you was a foster kid? And you went to college? So now they see that it's possible. So one of the things that this camp does is it gives them a touchable, usable hope.
Before I was adopted, I couldn't see into my future. And then I come here and I hear like my co-counselors talking about college and like their dreams and aspirations, and it kind of just, it was motivating for me. Like, they're doing it, so can I.
You know, kids are funny. You just have to open the door, crack the window a little bit, and they'll take it from there. But they have to know it exists. And that's the importance of a mentor.
One of the most powerful things that could change the life of young people in unfortunate situations, that could even change the world, is becoming a mentor. Give that kid your phone number and say, if you ever need to talk to anybody, you can call me no matter what time of the day it is. And they'll look at you and go, really? That's the power of mentoring. Telling the kid, I'm here for you.
Camp Felix promo scene, take 1. Action! Stay tuned for more American Graduate Day!
Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, General Colin and Alma Powell. And the founder of FUBU and one of the stars of Shark Tank, Daymond John.
What's up? It's the Shark Daymond John. Welcome to American Graduate Day. I've been an entrepreneur all of my life, since selling pencils to girls at my school as a kid, to being a part of a co-op program where I worked during the school day. Those early lessons and successes helped me build the FUBU clothing brand and dozens of other businesses. But I may not be standing here today if it wasn't for a great mentor in my life. My friend Tim, he owned a corner store, and I swept up after going to school every day, and I noticed how he dealt with inventory and dealt with his customers. I know better than anyone how important mentoring and entrepreneurship is for students and young minds, which is why I support NFTE and all they do, Nifty. Nifty plays a critical role in establishing the entrepreneurial mindset in students who haven't had proximity to success stories.
I've gained 5 strong leads and 10 commissions.
Nifty helps them understand the determination and the hard work it takes to start a business and be successful. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor.
Daymond John really is entrepreneurship royalty. And as we've seen throughout the day, a young person's lifelong journey from pre-K to 401k needs a lot of help and even more guidance. Nonprofits and their volunteers can't do it alone. They need the support and participation of the government, foundations, and corporations to really help prepare students for post-graduation career success. To discuss this important collaboration, we're joined by 3 key participants in this space. Doug Michaelman, he's the president of the 1 Million Project and the chairman of the Sprint Foundation. Samir Jain is a CTO of Barclays Investment Bank, and the CEO of America Needs You, Kimberly Harris, joins us as well. Thank you guys, appreciate your time. So Doug, let's begin with you. Tell me a little bit about the 1 Million Project. What is it?
Yeah. An amazing entrepreneur, Marcelo Clare, was named to be Sprint CEO a few years ago. And he said to me, we've got this incredible national wireless network. We need to use it for good. And so we spent some time figuring out what could we do with this billions of dollars of investment beyond sell it to consumers and give them a good experience. And we had identified this problem called the homework gap. And the problem is so much high school homework has to be done online. And yet there are 10 million high school students who, when they leave the school doors at the end of the day, they go home to a home without internet access. And that creates a homework gap. It's a huge inequity. So what we did is we developed and created the 1 Million Project. And over the next 5 years, we intend to help 1 million of those students. And we're going to give them a free mobile device and free Sprint service for their high school careers. And that allows them to learn online wherever they are, whenever they want to do it, and giving them the same ability to go home safely in a safe space, do their homework just like those students in school who are more fortunate than them.
Doing their homework, of course, is critical. Also learning those skills, right? Like you're left behind if everybody else has those tech skills and you didn't get them because your parents couldn't afford technology in your household. Tell me a little bit about what Barclays is doing. Obviously, IT is going to be critical for the growing workforce. What's your strategy?
So at Barclays, the citizenship agenda focuses on employability and helping people gain skills to join the workforce. And this is directly aligned with Barclays' mission, which is to help people achieve their ambition in the right way. Because of our scale and size, we get really good insights into skills that are missing from the communities. And we feel there's a responsibility to do something about it. So we partner with organizations like Perscolas to build platforms where our colleagues can contribute their time and experience to help others through activities like mock interviews, with career counseling, with mentoring, or even to define new curriculums to help people gain skills to join the workforce.
It's interesting. It's what we often talk about, the soft skills, but really those soft skills are the skills today, right, Kimberly?
Oh, absolutely. At America Needs You, we focus on the hard skills as well as the soft skills that are essential to select, to secure, and to succeed in careers. So we work exclusively with first-generation college students from low-income families who have a graduation rate of about 11%. But if a student can make the connection between what they're learning in the classroom and a future career, they're 6 times more likely to stay in school and to graduate. And so that's really what we're all about. What's unique about the program, our intensive career development program, is that we match students one-on-one with mentors who coach our students for about 2 years. They dedicate over 200 hours of support. In fact, we had a workshop this morning where we were touching on interviewing as well as complex decision-making. And it's really essential to really work with mentors so that they give our students practical insights and clear ideas as they build out their future careers.
And have you seen a change in those numbers for the students that you're dealing with in graduation?
Absolutely. We're proud to report that 96% of our students graduate and 91% of them are graduating with full-time jobs. And they're earning more than their peers.
Well, that's such great news. That's wonderful. Doug, you know,
the power of mentorship.
It really does. And the 2 years is a long but obviously worthwhile investment. Doug, clearly technology in a family can be expensive. I mean, the reason somebody doesn't have wireless in their house, right, is not because they don't want their kids to be successful. It's because they can't afford it. They can't actually afford the technology. How do you plan to level the playing field for all these kids?
Well, I think that's the true essence of this program, is we're trying to address an inequity. Those students, we all know that everything we do today is on that mobile device. And the world's increasingly going to be that way. And schools over the last 20 years have done a great job of upgrading the infrastructure in their schools, and classrooms across the country are largely wired. And that's happened in the last 20 years. But then there's that student who leaves the building at the end of the day, and they are cut off. And it's a huge inequity, it's a huge unfairness, and that student simply can't compete on a level playing field like the student who does. So by giving them the equipment and the service at no cost to them, they have a chance to succeed and reach their full potential.
Samir, I'm going to ask you the final question. Often these things are framed as charities when you're talking to a corporation. Why is it good business to bring a more diverse mix of young people who can do IT into a company like yours?
So at Barclays, we feel that the individuals within the company define the business you do. And so to have a good, sustainable business, you need to have a really diverse workforce. And diversity in every aspect of the word, we think is really important, and we really promote it across the organization.
And that makes for a good business decision.
Oh, yeah. Good and sustainable business. Yeah.
Kimberly, is it a hard pitch to your corporate partners?
Absolutely not.
I kind of knew the answer to that.
We believe in developing mutually beneficial corporate partnerships, and we provide our partners with diverse sources of talent and also volunteer engagement opportunities. And in turn, they provide us with financial support, but also in-kind support. We really try to be strategic about the types of partnerships that we're creating. For example, we worked with a consulting firm that hired a number of our students, but also led our strategic planning process.
Well, fantastic. All right, Kimberly and Samir and Doug, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for talking with us. Earlier, we heard about the nonprofit Nifty from Daymond John, who everybody knows from his work on Shark Tank. Nifty uses Shark Tank-style business pitch competitions to bring the entrepreneurial spirit into high schools. Nifty events, such as one that was recently held in New York City, engage students, corporate leaders, and an array of supporters as students pitch their business ideas with real funding dollars on the line.
What Nifty graduates have is the entrepreneurial mindset.
So for the year, I project to sell 58 units, generating a revenue of $75,400 and a net profit of a little over $22,000.
These are all skills that employers look for, and these students have lived these skills out throughout our programs.
So because people are so interested in my business, I persevered.
When you walk into a classroom and you start out by telling, the kids to, let's come up with an idea, something you're passionate about. And then to say to them, now we're gonna build a business plan around that passion, around that idea. And this could be something that you do for the rest of your life. They're instantly engaged.
I did a survey of 40 skaters, and out of those 40 skaters, 84% said that they were interested in my product. So out of that, I decided to persevere. Nifty has helped me go so fast in so little time. Just to think that last year around this time, I was just entering high school, not knowing what I would be doing right now.
I feel like Nifty gave me the tools, and they didn't just give me instruction on how to use the tools, they let me use it the way how I wanted to use it. So you go on our website and you see the events listed. You click on the event that you wish to partake in, and then you book. It's as easy as that.
There's really two things that can really influence the outcome of success. One is, the individual has what it takes. They've got that talent. The second is that we're surrounding these talented youth with the resources and the network of individuals who want to see them succeed.
So one concern I have is with your cash flow and the months where you're going down, where there's nothing happening. So
it wasn't also just with business, it was also like a great relationship we had. My mentors, they're amazing people. My name is Cheyenne Suku, and I'm the founder and creative director of Events on Canvas. Together, we can suspend a moment in time. They have done so much for me, opened up a lot of opportunities for me. So I'm really grateful for that. It's more than just business.
You mentioned a little bit of your backstory. Spending time with your mentee, understanding what is it that he or she likes, and what is it that is driving him, and just tap into that the entire time that you work together. Yes, there's gonna be some more business-driven advice and more people skills, but those are collateral. To me, the biggest point is just to encourage them to make sure that they believe in themselves, to tap into their passion for whatever they like and help them turn that into a career and potentially into their livelihood.
We can keep it really high level here.
They meet mentors, they meet professionals, they meet entrepreneurs, and it definitely triggers ideas about their own future and make choices that are going to benefit them in the long term.
We're only ever gonna make a dent on the nation's education problems if we work together. So it has to involve the private sector, has to involve higher education, has to involve K-12, working together.
So the City Foundation is involved with Nifty because we have a mission to try to tackle the youth unemployment rate. And Nifty's approach to helping young people build the entrepreneurial mindset is exactly what we need to instill in young people to give them the ability to compete in a competitive job market.
With Nifty, and reach out to high school students and surround them with an ecosystem of mentorship is a fabulous leap, which is not theoretical, but is practical for them to actually say, I could build something and I can make this happen.
The students that come to our GROTC Cadet Corps Leadership Education Training in high school, many of them do not have direction as far as careers are concerned. And when they come and hear what our mission is to motivate young people to be better citizens, they wonder how they fit into that. Our basic job is to motivate young people to be better citizens, to show them the way to a future that is gratifying to them.
I transferred from a different school because I was in trouble a lot. Once I joined JROTC, Sergeant Jackson taught me how to be a leader. He taught me how to be the non-commissioned officer in the United States Army that I am today.
Sergeant Jackson, the one thing that stuck with me since freshman year was the fact that we are all unique. It's really stuck with me because bullying was always a big problem for me. But to hear someone tell me that I have something that no one else has was the biggest lesson I could ever take away from Sergeant Jackson.
If you need to stay after school just to mentor and talk about life, he'll stop and do it. And right now he's not a friend, he's a teacher. After I graduate, he will be my friend. And I will constantly use him through life.
The paramount thing is not just the education, not just the leadership, but being a better citizen. And that is the joy of coming to this program. We make them better than they were when they got here.
Making people better is a powerful message. And earlier in the program, we met Mike Petters, who discussed how Huntington Ingalls Industries makes people better through job training and ongoing education. One division of his company has had a job training program in place for almost 100 years. It's the Apprentice School at Newport News Shipbuilding. From welding and ship painting to electrical skills, computer modeling, design of nuclear submarines, the Apprentice School is an education with a purpose, to train the thousands of workers needed to launch advanced ships while they're advancing their careers. So joining us to discuss the program, Elise Felt is a modeling and simulation apprentice, and her mentor is Jason Kinney. He is the manager of leadership and professional development for the Apprentice School. It's nice to have you both here. Thanks. Thank you. So, Jason, give me a sense of what you look like. You get a lot of applications. What are you looking for in someone you bring into the school?
Really, any U.S. citizen can apply to the Apprentice School, but one of the things we're looking for the most is anybody that has a love for learning, has an interest in really getting their hands dirty and learning a trade. The Apprentice School, the mission of the school is much more than just a trade. Our purpose is to really provide the company with good craftsmen that are educated and really essentially will become leaders in the company. You know, the Apprentice School, when you come into the school, it's just like any standard 4-year apprenticeship. So you would start in a trade or a craft. We have 20 different trades that you can come into, shipbuilding trades. After about 2 years working in your trade and learning in that craft, you can actually apply to get into one of our more advanced programs, salaried programs, where you can continue your apprenticeship in areas of engineering, design, modeling, simulation, things like that.
The thing that's unusual is that you not only don't have any tuition, you pay students to come, and harder to get into your school than Harvard, for example.
Yes, we take in anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 applicants a year, and we hire anywhere from 200 to 300 a year. So it's very competitive, and that's for a good reason. We're making a huge investment. And it's not just training an apprentice to be a good craftsman. We're pouring a lot into these apprentices because they're going to be ones leading shipbuilders when they're done, and many of them begin to lead even as they're apprentices.
So Elise, before you started at the Apprentice School, you had dropped out of college.
I had.
Single mom, 2 kids. That seems like a lot to overcome. What made you decide to go to Apprentice School?
Well, I heard about it from a family member, and they said that they've got benefits, they've got good pay, and my family member who went through the school said that it was a wonderful experience. Yeah, it was dirty and it was hard work, but she learned a lot, and she was able to advance really far. She was in cost estimation, which is pretty prestigious sounding. I didn't know much about it, but I was definitely willing to learn and hear more, and I raced online and signed up.
You started as a pipe fitter, and as I mentioned earlier, you do modeling and simulation. What does Jason, look, let's put Jason on the spot, shall we? What does he do for you, because he's your mentor?
He has been around, actually, during my apprenticeship in different ways, and as time has gone on, we've sort of forged a bond between us. We both came out of school with writing experience, so when we met in Publications Committee, part of the student association that we've collected at the Apprentice School, we were able to kind of meet minds on the writing professionalism and what we wanted to represent in the school when we were writing about it. And you know, as you share those moments when you're editing something or trying to get the most out of an article, we really began to forge a vision of the school and the students and what our dreams were for the future. And as our professional involvement with each other has increased, he's a faculty advisor at the school for the Apprentice School Student Association, which is our student government organization. And his advice all the time, he gives so much of his just his thinking off the top of his head, and it's always so positive. It's really had a forming effect on my view of my career.
And how about your life? I mean, how's it been for your family?
Oh my gosh, we have a whole new life ahead of us because of this.
2 boys, how old are they?
They're 10 and 12.
Great ages.
And they've been my rock. You know, they've been my stability. It was really hard working 2 jobs when I first separated from my ex-husband, and I knew I had to go it alone, and so finding something that could bring me home at a regular time every night, and I didn't have to work weekends anymore, it meant that I could be part of their lives.
Well, amazing work. It sounds like you're a terrific mentor, and the program, it sounds absolutely incredible. Thanks, Elise, for talking. Jason, as well, for joining me today. Harnessing technology is also the mission of this Stories of Champions from KUEN, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah.
I love the power of EdTech to reach every kind of student. Some students are college-bound, some students are career-bound, but no matter what their track, technology is going to be a part of whatever they do. As an EdTech specialist, my job is to help increase student achievement through supporting teachers and students in their use of technology. One of the ways that I've been able to help teachers in our district is through the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs project. I get to work with several groups of students around the district and their teachers to produce news packages that actually get to go to PBS NewsHour and potentially be aired by them.
Katie Blunt's mentoring to me is a vital part to my success personally. She has taught me skills that I would not normally have and that I would need in trying to be the successful teacher I want to be.
I consider it a privilege to mentor other people, to be able to help them with the skills I've been able to acquire that they haven't yet, and together make something better. Public media plays a huge role in supporting our efforts with education technology and mentoring teachers within our district and around the state.
Technology provides access to information and dynamic ways of connecting skills with opportunity, and it looks like Lauren has made a new connection.
I have. I am with Cami Erickson, Senior Manager of LinkedIn for Good. Cami, thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
We know that LinkedIn is the professional networking site, but what is LinkedIn for Good?
LinkedIn for Good is the social impact arm of LinkedIn, and we're a key component to bringing LinkedIn's company vision of creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce to life.
How do you go about doing that?
So we know that talent is distributed evenly around the world, but unfortunately, opportunity is not, and we're trying to change that. LinkedIn for Good focuses on helping youth, veterans, and refugees connect to opportunity. And last year alone, we were able to reach 1 million youth, veterans, refugees, employees, and nonprofits through all of our programs.
Why is it important for LinkedIn to put resources behind this program aimed at opportunity youth?
Well, we know that opportunity youth are really excited about starting their careers, but many of them lack the resources that they need to be successful. We believe mentorship in particular is hugely important for youth in this segment, not only because mentors provide much needed career guidance and advice, but also because mentors help youth get access to their networks. And as you know, at LinkedIn, we really believe in the power of networks in connecting to economic opportunity.
And speaking of networks, how can young adults who don't have access to professional networks right now benefit from LinkedIn for Good?
Well, one of the things that we try to do is really help underserved young people understand that LinkedIn is an incredible resource for them. In addition to building out their own profiles, young people can also use LinkedIn to research potential career fields, look at other people that they want to be just like and sort of learn from, and find mentors.
How many young adults have you reached and assisted?
So to date, LinkedIn for Good has reached already 100,000 young people, and we're really just getting started.
And it really starts for you guys with LinkedIn for Good with reaching the young adults by first tapping into the nonprofits. Is that right?
Exactly. We work really closely with a range of over 30 youth nonprofit partners around the world. One of our signature partners is Year Up, who has been an incredible partner to us in helping to bridge the opportunity divide. And what we do with our nonprofits is really twofold. First, we help to integrate LinkedIn training into their core career readiness curriculum so that all young people who are going through their programs understand the power of our platform. And secondly, we leverage our employees and our over 530 million members around the world to mentor youth through these nonprofit partners.
It sounds like an incredible program. Thanks for stopping by and talking to us about it. And you are in for a real treat because right now we get to hear from the U.S. Army Recruitment Band, As You Were.
The legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, and Spider-Man's control, and Batman and his fist.
Hi again from New Orleans, I'm Sheba Turk. The organization Youth Build offers new hope to those who left high school by giving them classes to get their diplomas or equivalent, while also teaching them construction skills.
Youth Build welcomes young people who are born into poverty. In Youth Build programs, low-income young people who've left high school divide their time between working toward their high school diploma or their GED and building affordable housing for homeless or low-income people in their neighborhoods. We discover that there's an enormous range of talent that is being locked out of society, but if the young people are given an opportunity, they will seize it.
I believe as a young man I was searching for something and I really didn't know what it was. I struggled with a lot of things that sort of happened to me as a child. My mother died when I was very young. You know, I used drugs, I sold drugs, committed petty crimes. When I was 21 years old, I was in the Dedham House of Corrections. When I got out, I made a very conscious decision not to go back to my old neighborhood. I knew I wanted something different. I didn't have a clue what that was, but I was tired of being alone and I was tired of running. It was one weekend, I saw an old friend that had a different bop about him. He was talking different, his face was shining, he wasn't high. I said, hey, what's going on? And he began to describe this program that he was in with a sense of purpose and electricity that I'd never seen before. And so he began to describe Youth Build to me. I was ready for an opportunity. I had no clue that the opportunity would change my life. It was the greatest lesson for me about the power of love, opportunity, and expectation. They expected that I would be something.
Robert Clark is a perfect example of the kind of leader who can emerge if given the opportunity to find his true passion and his enormous talents.
I'm the first Youth Build graduate to found and lead a Youth Build program. We serve young people who have been in poverty for decades, so don't really understand that transcending it is possible.
I was a senior in high school. I was halfway into the year. I had just turned 18. It was a week after my birthday. I didn't get caught stealing the car. I actually got caught parking the car. I was almost done with school and made the dumb decision of doing something that literally changed my whole life. What I wound up doing for a while is got caught up in the streets again, selling drugs, being in gang life. From there, incarceration, incarceration, incarceration. Seeing Mr. Clark and speaking to Mr. Clark showed me that if this man can come from what I came from and know what I know and be the man that he is now, that I'm seeing and that he's explaining to me and giving me his life story, that definitely gave inspiration for me to change. Since I've graduated from Youth Build Newark in 2008, I've been working at the Newark Home Depot. I never would have pictured I'd be having a steady job for 8 years, no matter what it was.
What Youth Build gave to Hassan wasn't really to Hassan. It was to Hassan's children. Hassan was able to become a father and be present in his daughter's lives. That's the most important thing Youth Build can give to young people and to community, ensuring that less children grow up in poverty.
If not for Youth Build, I don't think I would be 1/10 of the man that I am today.
There's something about giving back, I think, binds us to community. Watching that all come together is really magical. The more that we can give young people those opportunities, the stronger we could be as a country.
I'm a pilot, a flight instructor, a writer, and I teach an aerospace class to middle schoolers. I have been working at Jeppesen for 23 years. I used to flight instruct full-time. Now, I kind of teach the world to fly.
She talks to you and she wants to know more about why you want to be in the class and what can she do to help you be more interested.
I've been teaching at Grant for 5 years. One of the things that the enrichment program does is it provides an opportunity for kids to experience things that they might not have the resources for outside of school.
You don't have a lot of opportunities being able to go into a non-commercial airport and seeing how it works.
I'd like to say that I was a positive female role model for both the boys and the girls in the class so that they can see a woman doing something that has traditionally been a male role. I like to think that I've planted a seed, I've introduced them to something.
I have thoughts of becoming an aerospace engineer. It was this class that was like, yeah, go do that. Yeah, that over there.
I hope she knows that she's appreciated by all the students, and I hope that she knows that she's doing a really good job.
It's very inspiring to see all she has accomplished.
The class isn't about taking tests, it's not about memorizing facts. It's about finding something that they have a passion and a joy for. And I think that's one of the most positive things that I bring into these kids' lives.
Stay tuned for more American Graduate Day!
Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Thomas with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm proud to be a part of American Graduate Day. One person that has helped me get to where I am today and has been a big mentor of mine is a good friend of mine, Jamal Crawford, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's a guy when I was 15, 16 years old, brought me under his wing and just showed me how to be a pro, not just on the court, but off the court as well. And somebody that to this day I look up to, and somebody that's giving me daily advice, not just as a basketball player, but as a person, as a father, and somebody that just really shows respect to everybody. I think mentoring is important just because kids these days, they need somebody to look up to, and I was once in their shoes to where I found somebody I looked up to and he was happy enough to lend a helping hand. And I think that's important for kids these days to find somebody they look up to, find somebody they want to be like and chase that dream. Become an American Graduate Champion and be a mentor like Jamal Crawford was to me.
That's Isaiah Thomas talking about his mentor, and he's a supporter of Mentor. You can go to americangraduate.org and connect with Mentor to find opportunities in your area. We're now in our final half hour of American Graduate Day and have once again convened a roundtable of industry leaders to discuss the important role foundations and corporations play in working to help prepare students for post-graduation career success. Joining us now, the president of Citi Foundation and director of corporate citizenship, Brandy McHale, president and CEO of United Way New York City, Sheena Wright, and chairman and CEO of Turner Construction, Peter Davoren. Nice to have you guys. Really appreciate it. So, Brandy, let's begin with you. A Pathway to Progress program. You've recently pledged $100 million to help 500,000 young people around the globe. Give me a sense of exactly how the money's being spent and what you're doing.
Well, currently there are 71 million young people around the world that are out of work. That is 3 times more than the adult population. We recognize that if we want to have strong, healthy, thriving economies, we need to address this issue. And so our program, Pathways to Progress, is investing in community-based organizations around the world, helping young people to develop the skills and the confidence and the networks and connections that they're going to need to succeed in a rapidly changing workforce, and to also work with employers to connect them to this population and help them to rethink and redefine the talent recruitment process from high credential to high potential.
Interesting. And Sheena, in a way, that collaboration that Brandy describes is really what United Way has long been about, and certainly United Way of New York City. Why is that collaboration between nonprofits, foundation, government, private sector, why is that your focus? Why is it so critical?
It's absolutely critical. If we're doing things in a silo, we'll continue to get the results that we have. So if the corporate community can't communicate and translate what their needs are to the nonprofit community, and the education system will continue to make sure that kids are not prepared for the workforce. So we sit in the nexus of the corporate community, the nonprofit community, and government, and our job is to connect the dots.
So Peter, your company, Turner Construction, I mean, you see the signs everywhere. It's one of the biggest in the entire country. Did you guys build this building? Is that right?
We built it a long time ago, yes.
Well done. I like it. We were earlier showed a piece about a program that your company is involved with, ACE Mentor.
Yes.
What was the business upside of being involved in a program like that?
Well, you know, we have a secret, and the secret is the Turner employee. The Turner employee is a smart, articulate, great builder, and the men and women of Turner Construction Company are caring, and they care for themselves. They're continuous learners, and they love to teach. So the secret is they love to teach. So if you take the ACE Mentorship Program, where high schools can participate with other people, and you can have your employees teach them about the business ACE, architecture, construction, and engineering, and put them together, they can develop wonderful relationships, internships, employment, and hopefully put together the next generation of leaders in our company. So it's a win for the students, and it's a win for our people, especially in career development.
Why is it so important for you as a CEO who has a million other things to be doing, including running the company, to be so involved in this program?
Well, everything revolves around the environment, not the air and the water and the green, but the environment that you live in every day, working together with people. And if that environment is nurturing, if it's healthy, if it's supportive, it's collaborative, there isn't anything you can't build. So if you can ask people to participate in that system or in that process, as young as they may be, they get to understand what that environment is, and they carry that environment on to the next project and the next project. I mean, construction's hard enough as it is without a good environment, but a good environment really helps, and it does attract a lot of good people. And again, there isn't anything you can't build.
Brandy, your focus is also on your 10,000 workers to be mentors. Why was that such a critical element of this?
So when we talk about Pathways to Progress, typically the headline is we're investing $100 million in philanthropic support. But I actually think that the real secret sauce behind what makes this successful is that we've committed 10,000 city employees to stand up and reach out and be a caring adult and a mentor and a coach to a young person. Obviously, that young person is going to benefit from having someone who cares about them in their life, but I think also that connection is such an important network for them and such a door opener for them. The other piece is, and we've heard it throughout the day, that the mentor gains just as much as the mentee.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more, but I also think there's another value for companies, and it's that those employees that stand up to be mentors, they turn out to be role models for others in the company as well. And so you're really investing in the leadership and sustainability of your own company.
That's interesting. I do agree. Often we think of something that's, you know, a program that's investing in a community, but actually if you do it right, you can really bring your company along, and it becomes a win-win-win for everybody. Sheena, tell me a little bit about what you think is the most important thing that you're focused on. I mean, how do you pull this all together?
The big focus is making sure that things are aligned and kind of mutually reinforcing. We work with over 100 corporations across the city, and we work with 500 community-based organizations and every major government agency that you can imagine.
Do young people get access to those networks? I mean,
Absolutely.
Do they get the social capital, if you will?
Absolutely. So we ensure that we can activate volunteers, as you've heard described from Peter and Brandy, to serve as mentors and volunteers across the educational institutions that we work in and within the other nonprofits as well. And, you know, what we've already said is if you can't see it, it's hard to become it. And the mentors get a lot out of it as well.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. Appreciate the conversation, Peter and Brandy and Sheena. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for all you do. I mean, really, it's quite remarkable moving the needle for so many young people. It's very, very, very essential. When the American Graduate Day Program initiative began back in 2012, the America's Promise Alliance was one of the first organizations to support it. This year, they celebrated their 20th anniversary. It was founded by General Colin Powell and his wife, Alma. Their stated mission has been to inspire, engage, and unite individuals, institutions, and communities to create the conditions for success for every child in America. That is not a small task. We caught up with the Powells recently doing what they love to do the most, which is visiting some of today's youngest Americans who are on their way to becoming tomorrow's leaders.
What's that, honey? What does that do? Did you make that? Did you make that by yourself? Feels great to see kids who are working on projects such as this. And it shows that they are dedicated to completing that project, that they're learning something from the project. Let me do it this way. Okay, put it on here. And that they are being guided in performing the work necessary to create these projects.
We have worked very hard with parents and kids in this community, and it is exciting to see them developing the kind of program that is here.
What are you making? What are you all making?
We're making rockets so that we can fly to different planets.
The program is the DC Promise Neighborhood, which is one of 12 federally funded programs around the country that were created by a competition that President Obama instituted. He said he was going to create Promise Neighborhoods, and so we were selected as one of those 12.
Hello, Miss Mary. How are you?
I am great, thank you.
I'm so glad to see you.
I Am the Promise basically says you're responsible for your destiny. So it's not about you expecting me to come to you and make a promise and deliver on it only, that it's a two-way street. We promise to be here. We promise to support. But then you have to also set goals for yourself and for your family and for your community, and you have to make a promise. So at the end of the day, it's not about what have you done for me lately, it's about what can we do together.
I have been around young people for most of my life. We used to call them soldiers. Now I call them students. Now I call them my kids. Come here, guys. Come here, son. Here we go. Here we go. One of the things I've learned over many, many years in the Army and out is that if you take a group of young people, whether they're in elementary school or just brand new recruits, you have to make sure that you have adults who will impress them. You got them all up there? I see Earth, I see Venus, I see Mercury, I see Moon. Moon's not a planet, though. Moon's a moon. Somebody they can follow, somebody they can take inspiration from. And that is the responsibility of the adults in the lives of these youngsters. You can call it mentorship, you can call it parenting, but the reality is that without a good tribe of people helping these youngsters, they will find a bad tribe of people to take them down the wrong way. Well, you know, American Graduate Day reflects the need for all of us to come together as a team. Why is it so important for government to do that? So that you can start to prepare educated citizens, citizens who can contribute to the community.
I've been in a meeting working on the changes now.
Well, get back in there. Right. You need the for-profit sector because these are going to be your employees. And not only will they be your employees, but if you make them your employees and you pay them a decent wage, guess what? They're also your customers. What are we doing here?
Making astronauts.
Oh, to go with the rocket.
When I went to high school, that high school taught trades along with the academic courses. Because everybody in that school was not going to go to college, but everybody in that school graduated with a way to make a living.
What are you building on the moon?
Trying to build a house.
It's in a sanitary room.
We really don't know what the jobs of the future are and what the economy will hold. In order to bob along on top of all that, you're going to need resilience and you're going to need flexibility. You're going to need to be a lifelong learner and you're going to need to persist over time.
You can't break the cycle of poverty by just education. You need economic well-being in the community. You need jobs. The most important thing that you need to break poverty is to provide jobs to people. But if the jobs require education, you don't have it, then you don't have jobs. And so the two go hand in hand. You need an economic system that is providing jobs in the community, and then you need a school system, an education system that is preparing young people for those jobs. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Huh?
Remember which side you're cutting on. Remember which side your blade is going to be on. Just pull it down dry first.
My name is Wes Davis, and I'm the program facilitator here at Woodward Career Technical High School. It's a career and technical school which encompasses all your academics as well as trades.
Wes is teaching these kids life lessons.
He actually wanted me to get a career.
All right, let's hit the terms again. Slam on deck. All right, let's go over there and get with it. We got to go through a little bit of safety. Y'all are going to be on the ladder.
He was right there by our sides while we were reading the blueprints and getting our hands dirty.
I thought y'all were going to make a whole run on that.
I'm going to be hard on you because I believe in you. You need to learn how to believe in yourself.
You are more than capable of doing whatever I put in front of you. If I didn't believe you can do it, I wouldn't give it to you.
He was like, no, Niani, he said, you have to learn how to do this because when you get into the real world, no one's going to be right there.
The first meeting I had with Wes, he introduced me to 12 of the students. I was blown away.
I know I definitely wouldn't have had a career like this.
So now I'm working with Valley Interior, and Mr. Davis is the one who introduced me to them.
They had definitely had some professional training, and it was all Wes's leadership.
Blade running full speed. I want to get all of them in because we got to get ready to get some hands-on work in.
You're just giving them the confidence and the assurance that you can be successful, that you're going to make it, giving them hope.
Just as Wes Davis is helping build new careers, a model collaboration between government, nonprofit, and the private sector is opening new employment pathways in Northern California. The mayor's Youth Jobs Plus initiative, in partnership with United Way Bay Area, is an alliance with really unlimited potential. And joining us from the office of San Francisco Mayor Edwin M. Lee is Hydra Mendoza, Deputy Chief of Staff, Education and Equity. And from United Way Bay Area, Eric McDonald. He's the Executive Vice President and COO. It's nice to have you both here. Eric, let's start with you. What inspired you to create this program?
Well, two things. One, my own life experience. I was an only child, single parent, trying to figure it out. And it was, at that time, the mayor's youth summer program. And the opportunity to create like experiences for young people. So fast forward, President Obama in 2012 declares this national challenge to corporate America, actually, to create job and internships for opportunity youth. Mayor Lee got excited because from his perspective, he believed that if he could lead the way and challenge the private sector to join him, and 2012, summer of, Nancy Pelosi joined us in San Francisco. We did this amazing launch, challenging employers to literally raise their hand in the room. And we left that room with 1,000 pledges. By the end of the summer,
wow.
we had served over 5,200 young people.
Wow, wow. So really a model you're creating that other people can build off of. So give me a sense of how it works exactly.
Sure. So we have the mayor's office, the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, our school district, and our Department of Children, Youth, and their families. And what we've created is this kind of hub and spokes. We have nonprofits who are getting young people ready. We have employers who are showing up to create the opportunities both for exposure as well as jobs and internships. And then the goal is to not only give them opportunities for jobs, but also to incentivize them to see a pathway for their own career. So what does this mean in the classroom? Now that I have exposure to, I want to be one of those, whatever those happen to be, and it's really, really
exciting.
Huge
impact. Yeah. Hydra, tell me a little bit about the mayor's commitment to this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for us, we look at it as an opportunity for our young people, because how we raise our young people and how they graduate from high school and beyond really has huge impact on healthcare, on public safety, on workforce. And so he really wanted to start this to be an opportunity for young people to get exposed, to put some money in their pocket. Many of our young people, half of the young people that we serve are low-income students, and they're contributing to their family in some meaningful way. And so this was just the chance for them to learn more about what opportunities are available for them. And as our economy was getting more robust, we really wanted to engage the employers to make sure that they're pulling from our own young people. So this was about diversifying the workforce as well as making sure that our economy stays robust and really investing in the young people.
Unemployment is pretty low in San Francisco, like 3%.
It's below 3% now, and our young people is a little bit higher, but over the last several years as we've been doing this youth employment, it's decreased significantly.
Why is workforce development then a top priority versus like, hey, that's pretty good unemployment numbers?
Well, I think there are two reasons, actually, that I could think of, certainly from the mayor's office as additional perspective. But one is, while the overall unemployment is very low, when you kind of unpack that, you find that low-income communities of color, it gets higher. And so the idea is focus on this so that we're creating prosperity and opportunities for everyone, not just a few.
Got it. And from the mayor's perspective, why focus on that small unemployment number?
You know, and I think a lot of what he was paying attention to is how the tech industry was really booming, and what is it that the tech industry could contribute to the young people. So he wanted to really have them think about, again, diversifying their workforce and then bringing them in,
helping
to show
them along on that.
Oh, yeah,
would be good.
Yes, exactly. That was a priority, and then just making sure that the young people saw that the gamut of jobs that are available in these tech companies.
What's worked, Eric?
Two things I think have worked most significantly. One, young people seeing, for many of them, first time, real opportunity for themselves.
Name some companies that have been successful.
So Starbucks, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citi has been an amazing partner. We have everything from retail, and so Macy's on one, and we have hospitals, we have biotech, and so we've had so many. And what is often the case is that the young person, especially 16, 17 years old, has no idea, right? They want to be what they see. And so our big goal is to help them see a whole bunch of opportunities, a range of diversity of opportunities, and then they get excited in the classroom and hopefully, stay on course.
How many students are we talking about here, Hydra?
Since 2012, we've served about 41,000 young people that have gotten opportunities. Wow. And so, one of the things that I thought was really interesting in terms of industry is manufacturing. Because manufacturing, our young people don't know what manufacturing is. And I remember Dash he was a jean maker, a young man, and he pledged one intern job. And that was such a huge step for him as a young entrepreneur and bringing in a young person to help them out. And so it's been really great to see who's been coming out and pledging jobs, and again, just the opportunity for our young people.
We talked a little bit about how this potentially could be a model. How could you scale this and do it not only in San Francisco, but across the country?
Well, a key in San Francisco was the mayor, literally. He decided this was going to be a key pillar of his administration, and so he used his, we often call it the bully pulpit, to draw others. First, his city departments. There are 60 departments in San Francisco who are bringing young people into their departments for these opportunities.
So at the end of the day, it was great leadership, a great idea, all coming together.
Exactly.
Congratulations. This program is really, really wonderful and serving so many young people.
It's very exciting.
It's really great. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
So we have met so many wonderful people and organizations today, both here in person and on tape and in our Stories of Champion features. And I'm proud to say that an incredible 5,256,390 of our champions have been featured on this broadcast. So here is our salute to all of them who've dared with us to dream and walk with pride.
Close your eyes and nothing is impossible for those who try. Just dream to fly as eagles fly across the sky. I know we can.
American Graduate Champion.
Change a kid's life.
Be a mentor.
Become an American Graduate Champion.
Be a mentor.
Be a mentor for kids like me.
Wonderful words and music from John Legend. As we close our 6th American Graduate Day broadcast, we felt it's important to note that 50 years ago, the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967 was signed. It established the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and gave birth to public TV and radio systems that we know today. Upon signing it, President Johnson said, "While we work every day to produce new goods and create new wealth, what we want most of all is to enrich man's spirit." So hopefully this program has done that. Enriched some of you, informed others, and inspired even more to get involved. Reach out to a young person. Become a mentor. Thanks for watching, everybody.
You say, honey, we're here for ready to make this final vow. We'll fight together, we'll live forever to make this all about. 'Cause the power's in the numbers. Hoist together, hoist the colors. Oh, will let the music soak your soul. Hit the floor and let the beat drop. Feel the groove and make their hearts stop. Everybody looks alike. It's our time to redefine. Toe the line, toe the line. Our hearts are pumping to the bass track. Stomp it out, make them step back. Ladies, make the world go round. Listen up to hear the sound. Toe the line, stand your ground. Get your motor running. Stomp it out, it's coming. It's all information. Ladies, make a nation. It keeps turning, the world is turning. Time to stop this out. The news keeps rolling, but I ain't listening. He won't chain us down. We're gonna turn it on its head now. We're gonna change the world for good now. Hit the floor and let the beat drop. The groove and make their hearts stop. Everybody, let's divine. It's our time to redefine. Toe the line, toe the line. Our hearts are pumping to the bass track. Stomp it out, make them step back. Ladies, make the world go round. Listen up to hear the sound. Toe the line, turn around. Get your motor running. Stomp it out, it's coming. Stand tall in formation. Ladies, make a nation. Get your motor. Stand tall in formation.
Funding for this program was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. As part of American Graduate, Let's Make It Happen, a public media initiative to help communities prepare all students for success in school, careers, and life.
Yo, what's up, man? This is DMC and a place to be. Become an American Graduate Champion and become a mentor, because the things I do make me a star. You can be too if you know who you are. Put your mind to it, you go real far, like the pedal to the metal when you're driving a car. Rah!